season and leads the nation with 75 broken tackles. And another thing is he's averaging 4.8 yards after contact. They'll try to find somebody to replace that production tonight.
So without Stewart, that means more on the shoulders of quarterback Connor Bazelak.
Yeah, and Bazelak has played well in the games that he's appeared in for the Falcons this year, throwing for over 68% completion percentage, 779 yards, 7 touchdowns, and 0 interceptions.
Last week, Kent State, a heartbreaking loss, up 17 points against Akron. They lose it in the fourth. However, the bright spot was the play of quarterback Tommy Ulatowski.
Yes, Ulatowski was dominant last week. He threw for 3 touchdowns, and he added another on the ground. He's going to have to do the same tonight without his top receiving threat and Krishan McCray. He's going to have to spread the wealth. And another thing he's going to have to do, protect the football. This Falcon defense is number 5 in the nation with 12 interceptions.
Wednesday night action. It's Bowling Green looking for its 4th straight win against the Kent State Golden Flashes. Coming up next.
All right, thanks, guys. Should be a fun one tonight. And there were a trio of MAC matchups yesterday as well, including some key games that could help decide the conference title game participants. That'll be next month. But we start with Ball State visiting Northern Illinois as seen
against the Kent State Golden Flashes, winless in the MAC. As we take a look at the MAC standings, Miami of Ohio atop the East, Bowling Green a game back. Kent State winless in the MAC. Toledo still undefeated, 5-0 atop the MAC West. With the former Buckeye big hitter Dante Whitner, I'm Carter Blackburn. You take a look at those MAC standings, it means one thing for Bowling Green: the Falcons are still alive for the MAC title.
And they're entering this game on a 3-game winning streak, and they'll need to make it 4 if they want to keep up with the second-place team, Ohio, and the Miami Ohio Redhawks at number 1.
However, Bowling Green will be without their star running back tonight, Terrion Stewart. Lower extremity injuries, and his presence will be missed.
Yes, and it's a definite blow to their offense. He's the bell cow. 75 broken tackles, which is number 1 in the nation, and he's averaging 4.6 yards after contact. They'll try to replicate some of that production with Harold Fannin Jr., who had 4 rushing touchdowns last year, and Teron Keith.
For Kent State, they're dealing with a myriad of injuries as well, which means Tommy Ulatowski gets his 2nd straight start at quarterback.
And he's going to have to be efficient for a 2nd consecutive week. Last week, he was 15 of 23 for 229 yards and 3 touchdowns and 1 rushing touchdown. He's going to have to take care of the football tonight. This Falcon defense is number 5 in the country with 12 interceptions.
Kenny Burns in his first season as head coach at Kent State, seeking MAC win number 1. His most recent assistant stint at Minnesota with P.J. Fleck. For Scott Leffler, it's a solid run with 3 straight wins in the MAC after an 0-2 start for the former assistant to, among others, Lloyd Carr at Michigan and Urban Meyer at the University of Florida. Bowling Green wins the toss and defers, so Kent State will get the football first in the 91st meeting between Bowling Green and Kent State. It is Kent State 1-8 on the year, but they have won 5 straight games in this matchup with Bowling Green. Jack Sauter will kick off. Kent State came oh so close to its first MAC win last week, blowing a 17-point lead against Akron. We'll see if they can start fast as they did last week. Sauter's kickoff will be fielded around the 5-yard line and brought out across the 20-yard line, across the 25. It's Williams with a solid return across the 30-yard line. As we take a look at the Papa John's starting lineup for the Kent State Golden Flashes, it is an offense that has struggled mightily. Only 2 in the FBS worst at 269 yards per game, which means Tommy Ulatowski, the sophomore from Chicago, will have to play well again tonight. 4 total touchdowns in the game last week, so Ulatowski played well in start number 1.
And he's going to have to do it all without his top receiving threat in Krishan McCray, who they like to name and call around here Big Play McCray. He'll have to spread the wealth tonight, be efficient, and don't turn the football over.
On first down, a handoff to Jalen Thomas, and Thomas gets a good push to near the 40-yard line. Brought down at the 39. We take a look at the rest of the Papa John's starting lineup for this Kent State offense. Without McCray, the rest of the wide receiving corps is going to have to step up, including Trell Harris.
Yeah, 257 yards receiving and only 1 touchdown. He has a 43 long. He'll depend heavily on Trell Harris tonight, being that Krishan McCray is out.
after the 8-yard gain on first down. Ulatowski will give it again. And in the backfield, falling forward for no gain is Jalen Thomas again. Sip gets in on the stop. So we take a look at the Bowling Green defense. Darren Anders, the man in the middle, has 332 career tackles.
And it seems like he's been here forever. 50 career games played here for the Falcons. He'll be the guy that sets up the defense, makes sure everybody is aligned, and he's going to be running sideline to sideline.
It is a defense with 22 takeaways, tops in the nation. However, without cornerback Jordan Oladokin, so injuries for Bowling Green as well. Hand off to Thomas again. Huge hole across the 45. Jalen Thomas picks up a first down to move the sticks for Kent State. Part of Kent State's offensive woes have been on third down, but Thomas easily picks up a new set of downs.
And I like how the Golden Flashes are starting this game. They're running directly at this Falcon defense. The offensive line is firing off the ball, and Jalen and Xavier Williams right now is running hard.
It's an offensive line with 2 true freshman starters for Kent State. Flag down, deep shot, Ulatowski looking down and incomplete. Intended for Trell Harris, and now we will check the flag. That's Jalen Husky in coverage, who has 4 interceptions this year. Andrew Special, our referee, so free play deep shot there for Trell Harris. And now take the 5 yards on the offside.
And that's usually a play designed for Krishan McCray right there. Off of the play action fake, one-on-one on the outside. And doing a really good job of attacking right now, attacking this Falcon defense.
Give it to Gavin Garcia, trying to find the stretch on the left side. Garcia maybe gets a yard. Dontrez Brown, the big senior at defensive tackle for Bowling Green, makes the stop.
Last week he had 9 tackles, a sack versus Ball State, and there he did a really good job of detaching from the edge of the offensive line. That's the #1 job for any defensive lineman. Get off the block, make a tackle. Great job of making that tackle there.
No gain on first down. Garcia in the backfield again with Ulatowski.
And there's no safety in the middle of the field. You see both safeties within 8 yards, which means that they're keyed in and locked in on this run game.
Ulatowski trying to take advantage on 2nd and 5. Pressured from behind on the roll. Ulatowski finds a receiver for a first down at the 40-yard line. It's Floria who makes the grab, the senior from Minter, Ohio. Without McCray, he's their leading receiver.
Ulatowski made that happen. They had really good coverage initially. Patrick Day was covering Floria, dropped him in coverage. Ulatowski got outside and made the easy throw, picking up the first down. This is what you like to see if you're the Golden Flashes. Efficiency early in the game.
2 first downs for Kent State. Only 2 teams in the FBS have fewer first downs than this offense. However, they're rolling right now. Colson makes the grab, the senior from Holy Cross, with his first catch of the season on first down for another gain of 5.
And this is a simulated run. Being that you don't have Stewart in the backfield, being that you don't have your top back in the backfield, you want to spread the ball to the outside, force the defense to make tackles on the perimeter. That was an easy 5 yards there they picked up.
Production on first down, including the offsides penalty against Bowling Green, has set things up for Kent State on the opening drive. Ulatowski with the safeties walking down again. He's going to pull it, toss it on the run pass option. That's another Kent State first down. Floria makes the grab again.
And it looks like early here in the game that they're attacking safety Patrick Day. One-on-one isolation on the outside there. Easy sprint out, easy read. He only had 1 read there. The second read would have been to pull the ball, get the yards with his leg, but he chose to throw it on the sideline, picking up the first down.
Floria goes in motion. Garcia takes the first down handoff and gets inside the 25-yard line. Anders there on the stop. A gain of 2 on first down.
And what you're seeing the Falcons do is give a shell coverage. They're showing 2 high safeties. At the snap of the ball, one safety is running down to play the run, and that was a good job of Anders just being stout in the middle there and coming up with the easy tackle. A lot of shifting in motion, a lot of shifts from this Falcon defensive line here, trying to confuse the offensive line of Kent State.
Here they come on 2nd and 8. Ulatowski throws and misses, just misses on the outside, intended for Colson again, as Bowling Green brought the pressure on 2nd and 8.
This might have been an instance where Ulatowski thought that the defenders was closer than they actually were. He had time to set his feet and throw an accurate ball out there because Jack Colson was open one-on-one.
A productive opening drive for Kent State. They're in field goal range now. Trying to get inside the red zone on 3rd and 8. Ulatowski pressured, and he'll be sacked. Ulatowski dropped. It's the 32nd time that a Kent State quarterback has been sacked this season. Howell leads the way for Bowling Green.
And that's his 6.5 sack right there, and you see it coming off the edge, 101, giving a long arm, really moving the offensive tackle wherever he wanted to, and then getting the quarterback on the ground, which is the most difficult. Great job of the Falcon defense holding there and not allowing 7 points and holding them to this field goal attempt.
Andrew Glass from 48. This would equal his season-long 48-yard field goal is up, and it is easily good to give Kent State a 3-0 start. Andrew Glass from 48. So a celebration on the sideline from Kenny Burns and Kent State. They have another solid beginning. An opening drive field goal for a team seeking win number 2 on the season. A 3-0 start looks pretty good in Kent.
Why do I choose a sleep number smart bed? So I can keep them all guessing. So I
got you where you want to be. We're the partners for your next move. Everbank. Advantage you.
College football on CBS Sports Network is sponsored by Geico. For all your insurance needs, it's easy to Geico. By Verizon. Get the new titanium iPhone 15 Pro on us. And by Old Trapper Beef Jerky. What's your beef?
Jack Lambert was a teammate of Nick Saban and Gary Pinkel at Kent State. Interesting that Josh Cribbs, a great return specialist, was quarterback. Julian Edelman, the great receiver, was a quarterback here for Kent State as well. 11 plays on the opening drive for the Golden Flashes, and a 48-yard field goal gives Kent State an early 3-0 lead. And that is a ray of sunshine for an offense that has struggled mightily.
It's similar to the way they started last week versus Akron. They played 3 great quarters. They just didn't finish. And that's what head coach Kenny Burns was telling us about this week. They want to start fast, they want to sustain, and finish strong. And that's a great start for them.
Kickoff from Andrew Glass will get into the end zone for a touchback, bring it out to the 25-yard line as we take a look at the Papa John's starting lineup. And Connor Bazelak, the senior from Dayton, Archbishop Alter High School, spent 3 years at Missouri, 1 year at Indiana, won the quarterback job here with Bowling Green. The number's not tremendous, 7 touchdowns and 6 INTs, has a rushing touchdown as well. But his job is to protect the football for Bowling Green.
In their wins, he's 68%, 779 yards thrown for, and 7 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. So if they want to win, they need him to be efficient and not turn the ball over.
Even without Terrion Stewart, expect Bowling Green to pound it. Play action on first down complete. That's Fannin Jr., the dangerous and versatile tight end who picks up 9 on the play action on first down. Harold Fannin Jr., the sophomore, with his 23rd catch of the season. Take a look at the rest of the Papa John's starting lineup for the Bowling Green Falcons, winners of 3 straight. Odo Hilaire, the leading receiver for the Falcons.
Yeah, and he's going to get a lot of touches tonight. 235 yards on the season, 2 touchdowns, averaging only 10 yards per reception, but he has a mismatch issue on the outside.
Keith picks up a first down, tackled from behind by Bryce Shepard. However, Bowling Green moves the chains. Speaking of Bryce Shepard, he is the leading tackler for Kent State with 54. Play him close to the line of scrimmage a lot.
Yes, they're going to play him close to the line of scrimmage. He's a very aggressive safety. He's dealing with a shoulder injury right now, so they want to keep some of those hits off of him. Sometimes that's difficult with, safeties that like to play aggressive. They're just happy that he doesn't have to tackle Stewart tonight.
Flag on 1st and 10. Looks like it's motion on Bowling Green. Falcons are backing up. And here's where we point out that Bowling Green has a shuffled offensive line as well. Tude Fadukase is out at left guard, so it's Burns at left guard, Paget at center. Snap infraction makes it 1st and 15. And here comes another flag.
And you see the Kent State defense pointing at the Falcons. There's something going on right now with the nerves of this offensive line. And they've played well all year. Let's take a look at it. You see the left tackle just couldn't stand there. He's rocking back. He tried to stay in there as long as he could. But that's just 2 consecutive pre-snap penalties, and head coach Scott Loeffler, he just can't like that.
So after a first down on the ground, it's 1st and 20. Out of the backfield, Keith stretching back to the original line of scrimmage. Teron Keith will be one of the backs Bowling Green uses tonight without Terrion Stewart.
And Keith is a very versatile back. He's a guy that can run it, averaging over 5 yards per carry. But he has over 250 yards receiving and 2 touchdowns on the season. They'll get him the ball in a number of different ways.
He's Bowling Green's leading receiver as a running back. Fannin takes the snap, and Fannin is met as soon as he grabs it. Number 44 is a target for Kent State. So Fannin is dropped. That brings up 3rd down.
And this Kent State defense has had issues all year of setting the edge, and you see it right there. DJ Miller beating the block, going low, getting Fannin Jr. on the ground for the TFL. This Kent State defense is playing great right now, 1st and 2nd down. Now they have to finish it and get off on 3rd down.
Bazelak on 3rd and 12. Long drop, deep shot, incomplete. Had a receiver but left it just high for Ibrahim. A chance to convert on 3rd and 12. Instead, Bowling Green will punt.
And I tell you, he made the wrong read here. If we had a higher, you would see Olaire running through the middle of the defense. None of the secondary even paid him any mind. And you'll see it right there. He had 3 defenders in the middle of the defense, and he had Olaire running scot-free. He's gonna regret that one later once he watched the film.
Freshman punter Jackson Cleather hits it. Gloria calls for the fair catch and makes the grab at the 15-yard line. So a solid start for Kent State. A 3-0 lead against Bowling Green.
Make the Marco's Pepperoni Magnifico with classic and Old World pepperoni. Add the sweet heat of Mike's Hot Honey, and you get Marco's Irresistible New Hot Honey Magnifico.
4-hour home of CBS Sports. Charleston coming off a remarkable season as they won the CAA with 16-2 in conference play. The first NCAA tournament berth since 2018. Friday night, Charleston versus Duquesne, part of the 10th annual Veterans Classic. Solid start for Kent State, both offensively, the field goal drive, and then defensively backing Bowling Green up, getting the Falcons off the field. On the 1st down, nothing much doing on the handoff for the Golden Flashes. Howell in there on the stop as well.
And that's going to be critical. So that you don't allow this offense to have an array of different things that they can do. You don't want them to run the ball, play action, and be able to throw it deep.
Flags against Kent State. Obviously problems with Andrews specials, Mike, but that's pretty easy to figure out. False start on Kent State.
It's like both of these offensive lines are having some nerve issues early in this game. You want to see them get settled in, communicate well, and not have these pre-snap penalties. It's tough to beat the opponent and yourself at the same time.
Tommy Ulatowski fakes the handoff, tosses over the middle. It's complete across the 20-yard line. Floria makes the grab again.
That's a great job of the RPO game. You see the linebackers, Anders, step up, thinking that is run, and just replacing him and throwing the ball to Floria right behind him. Picking up a significant amount and putting this into a 3rd and short situation.
Already the 3rd catch for Luke Floria. And playing without Krishan McCray, their leading receiver.
Single high defense like they're playing man across the board.
On 3rd and 3, Ulatowski delivers on the slant. That's a first down. Trell Harris lost the football. Bowling Green thinks they have it. Waiting the official signal.
And boy, oh boy, did you see that safety put his foot in the ground, locate the receiver.
Falcon football.
And he was like shot out of a rocket there. I'd love to see the replay on this, but that's textbook safety play from the middle of the field.
Was subsequently fumbled, recovered by Bowling Green. Be 1st and 10, Bowling Green.
And Terrell Harris was not ready for this hit right here from Patrick Day. You see him come in with ill intentions, force the ball out. Now it's a scrum for it, and the Falcons come up with it in the Golden Flash territory. Just a great job of playmaking on the defensive side of the ball and getting it back for your offense.
Day knocks it loose.
A phenomenal play.
Looks like Deshaun Jones Jr. gets on top of the football. It is the 23rd takeaway by Bowling Green this year, most in the nation. The 11th fumble recovery by the Falcons defense, and it sets up their offense again. This has been the recipe for Bowling Green. Get takeaways on defense, set up your offense on a short field.
And the Bowling Green Falcons are the only team in the nation that are top 10 in interceptions and forced fumbles, and they added another right there to the collection.
Connor Bazelak on 1st and 10 to throw again with the flag down. Bazelak delivers to the 15-yard line. Ibrahim makes the grab, and forward progress takes him inside the 15. Now we check the flag.
You see a lot of the Kent State defenders celebrating.
Holding. Offense, number 57. 10-yard penalty for the previous spot. First down.
That's a 2nd penalty on the center, Alex Padgett.
And they're putting a lot of pressure in the middle of this Falcon offense, which is causing them to be very handsy and grab guys. But you just can't have that penalty right there. You picked up a first down, had a great concept.
Stretch on the outside for Teron Keith. Takes it inside the 30. Gain of 10 plus on first down to get you back within striking distance on 2nd.
And that's some of the production that they want to add because of Stewart not being out there. You see the stutter step on the edge, slow down the defender, and then pick up a significant amount of yards. Teron Keith is going to be, they're going to lean heavily on Teron Keith tonight to continue to run the ball and pick up some explosives in the run game.
Keith takes it again on 2nd down. Stretches inside the 25. So from 1st and 20 to 3rd and manageable about 3rd and 4. Look at the rushing touchdown increase. They had only 8 rushing touchdowns a year ago. 12 already in 2023. I mean, they have outpaced what they've done already through 9 games.
And they're definitely starting to believe in what Coach Scott Loeffler is teaching on the offensive side of the ball, the toughness up front. Now they have to figure out a way to get this in the end zone. But first they have to pick up the first down.
Empty backfield on 3rd and 4. Bazelak, quick hitter. Hilaire on the outside, gets a block, and Hilaire takes it inside the 10, inside the 5. It's 1st and goal, Bowling Green. On the screen from Bazelak to Hilaire.
And talking to defensive coordinator Dave Dugan, we talked about these screens on the outside. how the players have to stay at the line of scrimmage to get off of blocks. And O'Leary did a really good job of reading off his offensive linemen and his blockers on the outside and putting his offense in scoring position down to the 4-3-yard line.
Tonight's Red Zone brought to you by Verizon. 60% touchdown percentage for Bowling Green. Give it to Fannin on 1st and goal, stretching inside the 1. That's what Bowling Green told us without Terrion Stewart. Harold Fannin Jr. was going to play a bigger role in the offense. The versatile tight end, fullback, direct snap quarterback does it all for Bowling Green.
And you can see that Kent State defense was ready right there. When Fannin Jr. is at the quarterback position, he's keeping the ball. He's not reading the defensive ends. He's not going to pull it and hit the edge. Great job of crashing down inside and getting a hat on the hat.
Camden Orth at quarterback. He's the more rushing threat at quarterback for Bowling Green. Kent State uses a timeout. They have the wrong personnel on the field. So prior to 2nd and goal, timeout Kent State. Can Bowling Green punch it in when we return to Dick Stadium?
The new Barbecue Ranch Chicken Crunch from Jimmy John's is here with house-made barbecue ranch sauce, all-natural chicken, and crispy tortilla strips. All that.
Kent State is Bowling Green was a Falcon last year. Over 1,000 receiving yards in his collegiate career. A smile on his face. Out of the Kent State timeout, Orth, Patterson, Fannin Jr. all in the backfield. Camden Orth at quarterback on 2nd and goal. Orth stood up. Second effort, he is in. Touchdown, Bowling Green. Camden Orth with his 3rd rushing touchdown of the season as the Falcons punch it in.
And that's almost what you expected, being that Kent State has so many linebackers out tonight, and you see the missed fields and the second ever effort from Orth right there. He gets into the end zone. Great job of the Falcons of converting that turnover into a touchdown.
So after the fumble recovery by the defense, the short field leads to the touchdown. Alan Anaya on for the PAT. The hold is good from Jack Sauter. So for Bowling Green, it has been takeaways all year. This their 23rd takeaway. The fumble recovery leading to the short field, leading to a rushing touchdown. That has been the recipe for success for Bowling Green, seeking their 4th straight win. Now a 7-3 lead on Kent State.
Why do I choose a sleep number smart bed? So I can keep them all guessing. So I know their game.
He's been impressive.
And he does it all. He's very efficient, accurate, knows where to go with the football, and he's tough. Last week, Boise State hit him, and he kept coming back, and he fought and led his team to a victory.
Carter Blackburn with the Ohio native Dante Whitner. Back at home, just south of Cleveland, Ohio, here in Kent. Taken inside the 5 again. Williams has a huge hole. Williams still rolling across the 45, across the 40-yard line for Xavier Williams on the return.
Xavier Williams did a great job of putting his foot in the ground and just bursting through the hole. You see so many times returners, they like to dance back there on the kickoff return. There's no dancing. You have to hit it, get north, and put your offense near midfield. This is what the Golden Flashes are going to need. They're going to need special teams. They're going to need great defensive play to give their offense short fields.
Tommy Ulatowski making just his 2nd start for Kent State. Has an empty backfield on 1st down. Throws a dangerous ball, loose ball. Believe Floria is down before the ball comes out. Remember, the last Kent State drive resulted in a fumble that set up Bowling Green with a short field. This time, Floria ruled down after a gain of 4.
Yes, and they're still stripping at that football. You have to tuck it away, 2 hands around it when you're getting tackled. But I'll tell you what, I didn't like that read right there. There was too many defenders in the middle of that defense. Yeah, he completed it, but you don't want to master in throwing it into that defense. They had 12 interceptions on the year.
That one's just dropped on the outside by Trell Harris to bring up 3rd and 6. Just the 2nd incompletion by Ulatowski, 6 for 8.
You see one-on-one on the outside, and the defensive back does a really good job of not false stepping, moving with efficiency, and planting, driving, and knocking the football out.
That's Jalen Burton, who's playing a lot of snaps because Oladokin is out. Jordan Oladokin didn't dress for this game at corner. The brother of Chris Oladokin, Kansas City Chief.
We have a lot of defenders at the line of scrimmage. You might have to throw hot.
3rd and 6, here comes the pressure. And sacked all the way back inside the 30-yard line. Darren Anders, the first to reach Tommy Ulatowski.
Forward progress was stopped.
And if I knew he had to throw hot, he knew he had to throw hot. The defensive backs did a really good job of sitting inside leverage, and it was almost a jailbreak up front. You see everybody pretty much got beat up front for the Golden Flash offensive line. And Anders did a good job of getting away with the sack, getting to the quarterback first. Great job of the Falcons standing up on 3rd down.
Second time Ulatowski's been sacked. Sack number 5 on the year for Anders. The punt from Josh Smith, fielded inside the 15. Embry with a nice return across the 30-yard line. Embry across the 50. Jalen Embry breaks it in the punt return for Bowling Green to set up the Falcons with another short field.
Sometimes you can outkick your coverage. He boomed the punt. The coverage wasn't allowed to get down there, and he did a good job of making one move and then getting to the sideline, putting the offense near midfield again. Great job of the special teams units tonight of creating explosive plays.
It was the kick return game for Kent State, but the Golden Flashes punted right back. Now Embry returns it, and for the second straight possession, Bowling Green starts on the plus side of the 50. Connor Bazelak, the former Missouri Tiger and Indiana Hoosier, fakes a couple of times and looks downfield. It's caught on the run by Fannin Jr. Touchdown, Bowling Green. A one-play touchdown drive. Bazelak to Harold Fannin Jr.
And there was so much going on that offensive play. They motioned to Ryan Keith in. They swung him back out to the left side. Play action pass. Got all the linebackers up. The safety's eyes in the backfield. And you see Harold Fannin Jr. just running scot-free. And the rest of it was up to him. He got to the end zone. Fannin Jr., they expected him to have a big game tonight carrying the ball. Great job of receiving the touchdown there.
47-yard touchdown from Bazelak to Fannin Jr. Anaya PAT is good to make it 14-3. So Bowling Green has 2 short fields to work with, both times into the end zone. Touchdown, Falcons.
Little Caesars Stuffed Crazy Bread is just $3.49. Order on.
This is Lima Charlie. Do you copy? This is a Modern Warfare 3 promo takeover.
A what?
We got intel on Dual Double XP. Earn bonus in-game rewards with your first purchase.
Like Little Caesars calling card, emblem, and weapon charm.
And a bonus operator skin with your second purchase.
All right, let me sum it up. You unlock Dual Double XP and bonus in-game rewards when you order from Little Caesars.
Don't forget the Stuffed Crazy Bread for $3.49.
You got a deal.
Pizza.
It was a 3-0 start for Kent State. Golden Flashes look good on both sides of the football, but Bowling Green with a fumble recovery, short field, and then a punt return for a short field. Harold Fannin Jr. with his 4th touchdown reception of the year. This one goes for 47.
And he's moving at another speed. He's moving at a different speed than the secondary players from the Golden Flashes, and they're going to have to figure out a way to take him away. Maybe you have to double him, keep a safety over the top, but you can't continue to let him beat you. Coming into this game, he was their leading receiver in receptions, and tonight it looks like that's going to continue. They have to make a conscious effort to take Fannin Jr. out of the game.
He's averaging 13 yards a catch, and that 47-yarder will only improve the average. Sauter's kickoff fielded at the goal line. This is Shepard on the return, and another good return for Kent State as Shepard brings it back to the 32-yard line. Big hit by Duncan Nusulu, but Shepard sets up Kent State. So the Golden Flashes have flashed in this first quarter, and yet you look up, you're down 14-3.
Yes, and they've had some consistency on offense, just a turnover. And I don't like Ulatowski forcing the ball in the middle of the defense. That's going to come back to bite you. You have to continue to work the isolations on the outside, They started the game with some good runs, get back to that, and then the play action RPO game, getting it to the slants and allowing the players to make plays for you.
Ulatowski will hand off to Jalen Thomas on first down. Tough run for Thomas. Gets it across the 35 on the last play of the first quarter. 3-0 start for Kent State, but 14 straight for Bowling Green. That is the end of the first quarter. 14-3, Bowling Green on Kent State. You're watching college football on CBS Sports Network, presented by Geico.
The best way to watch all the Europa League action is
Full night in Kent, Ohio, so time for some hot Papa John's pizza. Yeah, don't toss it. Don't waste good pizza, please.
Bring one up here.
Take it. Flash. One turnover by Kent State, a takeaway from Bowling Green. They call it at Bowling Green the daily double. Turnovers and runs over 12, passes over 16. The explosive plays and the turnovers in the first quarter, both belonging to Bowling Green. That's why the Falcons have a 14-3 lead. On 2nd and 5, Jalen Thomas takes the handoff, and Thomas is stood up after a gain of 2. Looks like 3rd and 3 coming up. Anthony Hawkins at nose guard, and on the stop on Jalen Thomas.
And I'm okay with that run there, picking up 2 yards, keeping you in 3rd and short. And it's see what personnel they have out there. There's 2 receivers here. They have a 12 personnel, which means 2 receivers, 2 tight ends at the bottom of the screen. They have a mismatch on the slot versus a safety right there if they want to take it.
Only 7 rushing yards in the game for Kent State. So throw it on 3rd and 3. Out of the backfield, huge completion. Holmes goes rolling, tripped up from behind as he gets inside the 25. Patrick Day gets him from behind, but Justin Holmes, the sophomore tight end, slips away for the biggest gain of the night for Kent State.
And when you can have some type of success versus the running game, this tight end pop play is going to work, and you see it. Patrick Day was responsible for the tight end there. His eyes get caught in the backfield. They block, release the tight end, and he gets an explosive play. Great job of the execution.
39-yard gain. Keep it on the ground on first down into the red zone for Kent State. This is just the 18th trip to the red zone this year for the Kent State Golden Flashes.
And they want to make the best of it. I would stick with the running game here, utilize the RPO game, try to get these linebackers and safeties' eyes in the wrong place and out of position. Maybe you can get an easy one and slip somebody behind them.
Jalen Thomas gets him 3 more on first down. Ulatowski, the sophomore quarterback, in just his 2nd start, hands off to Thomas again. Gets to the 15 and sets up a big 3rd down in the red zone for Kent State.
And this is a critical 3rd down right here. 3rd and 4. You should be expecting some type of man coverage. Look for some type of rub route, pick route. And this could possibly be 4th down territory. You have to keep pace with these Falcons, the way that they're scoring the ball right now when their defense is playing and the way that they can come away with turnovers. I would think that this would be 4th down territory for the Golden Flashes.
Junker, the tight end, goes in motion. 2 tight ends on the right side of the formation. Give it to Jalen Thomas again, and he is ridden down. Darren Anders in on the stop to bring up 4th down for Kent State, and looks like the field goal unit will come on for the Golden Flashes.
With that type of run there on 3rd and 4, I would think that they would be thinking to go for it on 4th down. But hey, I'm okay with it. Take the points. 14-6 is a 1-score game.
Andrew Glass hit from 48 earlier to equal his season long. This one from 32. The junior from Wheeling, West Virginia. 32-yarder is good. So Kent State gets a 39-yard completion to Justin Holmes, but Bowling Green able to keep him out of the end zone. It's 14-6 Falcons.
Say you're looking for the perfect present. You might try looking at the perfect place. A place with gifts that light up a face as well as a room, where it's easy to find the
Sonic. Sonic. And by Twisted Tea. Keep it twisted.
Matt Johnson, a record-setting quarterback at Bowling Green, had 73 touchdown passes in his Bowling Green career, almost 8,900 passing yards as a Falcon, and now a Kent State Golden Flash, offensive coordinator for Kent State. So some traction in this rivalry where Kent State has won 5 straight. And there is Matt Johnson, whose offense has been challenged this season, but 2 field goal drives, at least at Kent State, keep Kent State within striking distance here in the second.
And they're only averaging 14 points per game, and one of the Achilles heels to this offense has been not being able to consistently hit the big play and get into the end zone. And we knew that it was going to be an issue tonight coming into it without their top receiving threat in Krishan McCray, but they have had some long drives. They just had to settle for 2 field goals. The only difference in the game right now is the one turnover.
Connor Bazelak for Bowling Green at quarterback, 4 for 5 with the 47-yard touchdown to Harold Fannin Jr. So told us before the game, Dante, with Terrion Stewart out at running back, Bazelak and Fannin Jr. were going to have to step up. That's exactly what the Falcons have done. Teron Keith in the backfield. Fake it to him. Bazelak pressured. Throws it. And that is incomplete. Was he in the pocket or not? It's an incomplete pass. And now the discussion with Andrew Special and his staff. And there's the flag for grounding.
And I agree with that. And even if it's not, even if he is outside the pocket, he didn't get the ball back to the line of scrimmage and beyond. So it's an intentional grounding.
Intentional grounding. Offense, number 7. Lost it down to the spot of the foul. Second down.
And you see Marcus Winfield, nobody even blocked Marcus Winfield. He did a good job of just beelining to the quarterback, not jumping, and forcing him to get rid of the ball before he wanted to, forcing the intentional grounding. Now, you just have to remain penalty-free if you're the Golden Flashes, tackle well, and get them to a 3rd and extremely long, and get the ball back in great field position for your offense.
A loss of 16 on the intentional grounding. Bazelak to throw again, complete to Ibrahim, who is drilled as soon as he catches it. DJ Miller Jr. right there on the catch from Ibrahim. So 3rd down and a long way now for the Falcon offense.
And the term for what DJ Miller did right there is shooting an arrow through snow. When you're on the outside and you have a bunch of defenders running from the inside,
Never
you
heard
can
that
go
one.
and take a shot to make the receiver stop his feet, cut back into the defense, and then the cavalry will arrive. Great job there of taking his shot, knowing that it's 3rd and long. You have the guys running, and you can go for the kill shot there.
That's Dante Whitner dropping secondary knowledge like an arrow through snow
Like
himself.
an arrow through snow.
On 3rd and 24, Bazelak just checks it down. So out of the backfield, Keith gets it across the 20, across the 25, but the Kent State defense does its job, forcing Bowling Green to punt it away, and good field position for the Golden Flashes after the coming punt, with Ibrahim down for Bowling Green. And that is a significant injury for Bowling Green, with Abdul Fattah Ibrahim, one of their leading receivers, down right now for Bowling Green.
It's gone.
Call right now and order your very own Legzercise Pro, the clinically proven automatic leg mover that soothes pain and naturally promotes healthy circulation. Call now.
Kent State forcing Bowling Green into a punt. You see the medical tent where Abdul Fattah Ibrahim getting treatment for Bowling Green right now, just gets rolled in the middle of that pile.
And this is just one of those things as a receiver you have to be aware, especially if you know that you have a swing pass or a screen to your side and you're in blocking mode. You have to keep those feet active just in case somebody rolls up on the back of your heels. Hopefully he's okay and can return to this game.
Cleather, the freshman punter for Bowling Green. Luke Floria is back for Kent State. Here's a flag prior to the punt on 4th down.
There is no foul for a false start. The game clock will start on my signal.
Break for Bowling Green. Coach Scott Leffler.
The game clock to 10 minutes, 34 seconds.
5 wins on the year for Bowling Green. If they get to 6, it'll be back-to-back bowls for the Bowling Green Falcons, but Scott Leffler said that is not our goal. It's to get to 8-9 wins, remain in contention for the MAC East, which they presently are. Leather's punt. Floria calls for the fair catch. He'll grab it at the 32-yard line. CBS Sports recognizes Native American Heritage Month, a time to honor the culture, traditions, and achievements of the nation's original citizens. Here in Kent, Ohio, it was Golden Flashes out to a 3-0 start and 14 straight for Bowling Green on short fields for the Falcons. Kent State a field goal drive last time they had it, as Ibrahim tries to stay warm on the Bowling Green sideline. Tommy Ulatowski and the Golden Flash offense back out on first down. Ulatowski pressured again, rolling to his right. Finds time, finds a receiver on the sideline. It is caught for a short gain by Colson.
And I like what Ulatowski did there. Keep his eyes downfield, stepped up and away from the rush and took the easy completion on the sideline and didn't try to force the ball downfield. That's what you like, the efficiency and the accuracy right there, and not trying to put the ball in harm's way.
Avoided his 3rd sack. Kent State has allowed 33 sacks this season between the 2 quarterbacks they've played. Ulatowski pulls it on the run pass option. Dangerous ball, but it's caught inside the 35-yard line. Floria makes the grab. 2 Falcon defenders had a shot at the football, but Floria holds it in.
And he just got that ball over the outstretched arms right there of the defensive back. He thought he had an interception. Great job of Floria with the concentration, bringing the ball in, and another explosive play behind this Falcon secondary.
Gain of 29 this time to Luke Floria. Again, the Golden Flashes without their leading receiver, Krishawn McCray, who has 4 receiving touchdowns this year. They only have 8 passing touchdowns on the season. Gavin Garcia gets a solid gain inside the 30 for Kent State on first down.
And I like the chess match right now that they're playing. When they load the box, they're going to a lot of play action, RPOs, throwing the ball on the outside. When they keep the safeties back, they're going to those type of inside zone running schemes and picking up significant amount of yards on first down. Here's another 2nd and short. I would like to see either a play action pass or another run to get into a 3rd and short.
Trying to draw him off on 2nd and 5. Ulatowski takes another deep shot, incomplete with the flag down, looking for Floria again. But now we'll check the flag on 2nd and 5. Hard count from Kent State prior to 2nd down.
Offside, defense, number 0. 5-yard penalty results in a first down.
Cassius Howell jumped.
And he has a sack earlier in this game, 6.5 on the year, and he's just trying to get, to the quarterback as quickly as he can. You just have to wait for the ball to be snapped. You can't cause those type of easy first downs and give up those type of easy first downs on defense.
Golden Flashes keep it on the ground again on first down, pushing inside the 20. Back-to-back red zone drives for Kent State. Mentioned prior to their last one, only 17 trips to the red zone on the season coming into this game. Back-to-back drives in the red zone. Last time they settled for a field goal. This time Garcia stood up on 2nd and 4. There's a helmet off. Cameron Golden's going to have to sit out a play at right tackle for Kent State. And it is a offensive line that is duct taped together for the Golden Flashes. And have to sit out Golden at right tackle for a snap. See if it's Nick Bryan who comes in at right tackle.
And it looks like that happened at the wrong time. They were trying to go to some tempo, hurry up, and catch this Falcon defense off guard. being at the left tackle, had to go out and they had to bring a new guy in. They were able to substitute and match, and it really hurt their up-tempo offense.
On 3rd and 3, read it, Ulatowski keeps it, and he's met on the edge and dropped by Jalen Husky. That's a big tackle for the corner, Jalen Husky. Tackle for loss to force 4th down in the red zone again. The kicking unit comes on again.
Ulatowski tried to give him a hesitation move right there, but the defense just closed in too quick. And you see Husky on the edge. He has 4 interceptions on the season. They don't really talk about his physicality and his ability to come up and make tackles, but you know, he's a really good, solid tackler for this Falcon defense. Great job of making a tackle, getting off on 4th down, on 3rd down, and holding them to this field goal attempt.
Andrew Glass from 36, his 3rd field goal attempt already of the game. Glass's 36-yarder is no good, off the upright, and Kent State comes up with 0 points on this trip to the red zone. So frustration for Kenny Burns and Kent State. Back-to-back trips to the red zone. They get only 3 points out of the last 2 trips. The 36-yarder from Glass is no good. And Bowling Green hangs on to a 14-6 lead here in Kent.
Why do I choose a sleep number smart bed? So I can keep them all guessing.
Like me? Well, you can't, because there's only one brand. But you can recover like me. Always, every day. They can help you recover from exercise to keep you prime. You want to stay prime, right?
The nation's leader in takeaways is up to it again tonight. They have put pressure on the quarterback with 2 sacks and their 11th fumble recovery of the year for the Bowling Green D.
And Patrick Day reminds me of myself right there, flying in there, torpedoing in, and then Anders in a 0 blitz. You're taught to beeline to the V-neck of the quarterback. Made a best man get there, and Anders came away with the big sack.
11 fumble recoveries, 1st in the nation. You see Jalen Husky with the 4 interceptions. That is 7th in the nation. Husky made a nice tackle on 3rd down on the last Kent State possession. So Bowling Green with a 14-6 lead. Camden Orth in at quarterback. It's been Connor Bazelak most of the way for Bowling Green, but we expect to see both quarterbacks. Orth came in the red zone for Bowling Green. Now takes it from the 20. Orth hands off. Fannin Jr. gets, with a tough run, gets across the 20-yard line to the 25. Harold Fannin Jr. didn't have much, but Fannin Jr.'s tough runner. Gets 5 to help out the offense.
Yeah, now we have Orth in at quarterback. He's more of the running quarterback in this system. And they're going to utilize Fannin Jr. in the slot here. They're going to have to be careful with this play action pass here. I know that they're all geared up thinking Orth is in to run the ball, but he can throw it as well.
Here he is, drop back, out of the backfield. That is caught, and inside the 35-yard line, inside the 30 goes Teron Keith, the dangerous receiver out of the backfield for the Falcons. Orth finds him for a gain of 29.
And this is what happens when you fall asleep on the back end. You see it, just a little rub route, rubbing blue on the outside and getting Teron Keith up the sideline. When you're playing a back like Teron Keith, you have to get leverage on it. You have to expect him to come out the ball and run a pass receiving route.
Keith in the backfield again on 1st down. Orth at quarterback, the 3rd leading rusher for Bowling Green. Looks like he wants to run it, but instead finds Keith again. This time all the way to the end zone. Touchdown, Bowling Green. This one goes for 45. Orth to Teron Keith. Back-to-back big ones for Bowling Green.
And that wasn't even a blown coverage. They played the coverage properly. They just isolated the middle linebacker here. You see it, 46 on Teron Keith. They have 2 safeties split it. And that's like the Red Sea. He's running in untouched. Teron Keith is really showing his receiving skills out of the backfield tonight.
That's 74 yards on 2 plays for Teron Keith. The PAT is good from Anaya. So the explosive plays back-to-back from Camden Orth. He comes into the game and goes 2 for 2 passing, 74 yards, both to Teron Keith. The junior from DeLand, Florida, puts Bowling Green in the end zone again, and the Falcons lead it 21-6.
At Ameriprise Finance.
Bowling Green has a 21-6 lead. The Falcons doing it with big plays, averaging 11 yards per play. That one goes 3 plays, 80 yards, 74 of them to Teron Keith on back-to-back completions. Camden Orth with his 4th passing touchdown of the season. His one drive as quarterback results in a touchdown for Bowling Green. The Falcons kick off with a 21-6 lead, trying to win their 4th straight game. And the MAC, after an 0-2 start in MAC competition, trying to get to 4-2 and stay alive for the MAC East Division title. Squib kick will be scooped up inside the 20-yard line by Williams. Williams is met as he crosses the 30. The football's out again. Kent State appears to get back on top of the football after Xavier Williams lost it again at the bottom of the pile. We'll see if Kent State, in fact, does recover.
And I'll tell you what, these Falcons defenders on special teams and defense are flying around. There's been a lot of footballs on the ground tonight.
Kent State football.
The ruling on the field was a fumble recovered by the receiving team. It'll be 1st and 10, Kent State.
Nearly the second takeaway by Bowling Green. Has now 11 fumble recoveries on the year.
And that's just aggressive play. You see it. And it looked like Rouser took the worst of that collision, but when you have so many bodies around the football and guys grabbing and trying to get it out.
On 1st down, Jalen Thomas is dropped for a loss. De'Air Kelly, along with Darren Anders, on the tackle for loss.
And that's a great job of pinching inside. This is a run stunt, means that you're starting to the right, crossing the offensive lineman face and penetrating at the same time. Great job of coming away with the TFL there off the run stunt.
Tommy Ulatowski at quarterback for Kent State. Back-to-back drives into the red zone. Ulatowski going to take a shot with a flag down, looks like a free play. And another miss on the free play from Ulatowski, looking downfield for Jameel Gardner Jr.
And I know it might seem like a small thing, but...
Offside, defense, number 54. 5-yard penalty, 2nd down.
I know it might seem like a small thing, but when you know you have a defender offsides in a free play, you have to do your best to keep that ball in bounds so that you just at least give your guy to go up and an opportunity to make a 50-50 catch right there. An interception won't hurt you. You have to keep that in bounds.
5 yards makes it 2nd and 7. Fake the handoff. Ulatowski reads it over the middle. That was tipped. Looked like Anders got a hand on it. Incomplete, intended for Floria to bring up 3rd and 7.
And the best thing that happened there was probably that the ball got tipped. He had 3 defenders around his intended target and possibly could have threw an interception there. Anders timed it well. If you can't get there on the blitz, you get your hands up. And if you can't get there with your hands up, you jump and knock the ball down. Great job of showcasing his athletic ability there.
Pressure coming. Yeah, here they come. It's Anders off the edge on 3rd and 7. Ulatowski delivers incomplete. Just a busted communication that time. Looking for Gardner downfield. He never looked for the football. And Kent State goes 3 and out.
Definitely a communication issue there. And the receivers are taught in the quarterback in communication. If the cornerback is on top of the route, you throw it shorter and you throw it back shorter. If you have a step on him, you lead him out there and allow him to cover up the receiver and drop the ball in the bucket. Just miscommunication on that play there. It hurts on 3rd down.
Josh Smith, the junior from Australia, hits it at the 25. Jalen Embry backs up inside the 15. Has a chance at another return. Flag down as Embry gets back to the 27, where he's dropped But Embry will check the flag. Here's a call from Andrew Special. Holding on the kicking team. 10-yard penalty. Obviously a problem with the referee's mic. How much Maction? If Maction could Maction. We'll answer that question and much more coming up on the Verizon Halftime Report. Josh Pate, Rick Neuheisel, Brian Jones will break down this game and take a look at a huge week ahead in college football. It's all coming up on the Verizon Halftime Report. Wednesday, Maction as Kent State trying to get its first MAC win of the season. First MAC win under head coach Kenny Burns. Took a 3-0 lead. 14 straight for Bowling Green. It's been a takeaway, sacks by the defense, and explosive plays from the offense, leading the Falcons to a 21-6 lead. Connor Bazelak back at quarterback for Bowling Green, and a handoff to Jason Patterson, the junior from Jacksonville, Florida. It's maybe a yard on first down.
In Kent State, you have to get a 3-and-out here. You would like to go 3-and-out, get the ball back for your offense in great field position to maybe drive down and be able to get 3 at the end of this half. But this is a critical possession right here so that this game doesn't get away from you.
Bazelak motions out, so Fannin Jr. the direct snap. The tight end do everything player for Bowling Green, picking his way across the 40-yard line, driven back to bring up 3rd down and 6.
And I know Fannin Jr. is a great athlete, but when you're running these quarterback options, you have to be decisive, put one foot in the ground and make a move. All of that dancing, there's too many defenders on the interior of that defense for you to dance away from. He'll learn that. But here, a 3rd and around 5 yards, you can expect a blitz from the Golden Flashes here. A lot of man coverage across the board. They usually run crossing routes here, so you have to communicate and not get picked off.
Fannin Jr. in the slot at the top of the screen. Bazelak, incomplete. Was looking for Fannin on 3rd and 6. It's knocked away by Capone Blue, the senior from San Diego. And as you said, Kent State needed a 3-and-out. Golden Flashes step up to get one.
And they ran a 3-and-out, and they also had man coverage and ran the crossing routes. And there, Capone Blue. Sometimes football can be so simple. You have man coverage with help inside. All you have to do is stay outside leverage, sit on the sticks at 5 yards, and then get the PBU, right? So he did a great job of just doing the small things at an extraordinary high level and forced that incompletion there. And he's going to get the ball back for his offense here.
Cleather, the freshman punter from Tip City on a fake. On 4th and 6, it's wide open. First down, Bowling Green. Cleather picks up the first down as the Falcons fake it on the 4th down punt attempt. Scott Leffler rolls the dice, and it turns out in a first down for Cleather.
I tell you what, when it rains, it pours, and this was the perfect time. You see all that space in the middle of the defense? They were in a return here. They weren't rushing the punt. Somewhere on the sideline of the Falcons, they knew that they would go return. Great job of calling it at the perfect time.
It's a gain of 17 on the fake punt. So crossing the 50 again. And now plenty of time for the Falcons. 2:12, 3 timeouts. Bazelak pressured. Bazelak will take the sack. It is just the 10th sack of the season by the Kent State defense. And Stretch Carroll gets his first sack of the year, the Virginia Tech transfer.
Carroll, the Virginia Tech transfer. You see him go inside, move there, get vertical, and get the quarterback on the ground. And they needed that because they had O'Leary again running through the middle of the defense for a potential big play. And there, the defensive line saved the secondary.
Teron Keefe in the backfield. The pass-catching threat out of the backfield. Bazelak fakes it to him, setting up the screen. Fannin Jr. right up the middle. Fannin Jr. inside the 25 with the block. He takes it inside the 15. The screen for Harold Fannin Jr. Another explosive play. This one goes for 34 yards.
Fannin Jr. is trying to have a career night tonight. You'll see the fake to the left, fake to the right, middle screen. You got the blockers all out in front. And then All he has to do is just run away from the defense. I like the way that Scott Loeffler is drawing up these plays and really featuring Fannin Jr. tonight.
Already a 47-yard touchdown for Fannin Jr. Sets Bowling Green up in the red zone again. After the fake punt gave him a first down. Bazelak check down. Keith sets up 1st and goal for Bowling Green. Keith had the last big play touchdown for Bowling Green. Less than a minute to go in the first half. And Bowling Green tries to keep it perfect in the red zone.
Number 43, Chase Fortcamp. He has to take that. He has to take Teron Keith to the flat. You only have one responsibility on that. You can't stare at the quarterback. And anytime Teron Keith is in the game as a defender, I would be thinking, catch the ball out of the backfield, quick out. Now they're knocking on the door of a touchdown.
Orth at quarterback on 1st and goal, trying to find the end zone. Orth stretches, he's in. Touchdown, Bowling Green. Camden Orth with the rushing touchdown for the Falcons. Had the passing touchdown on the last drive for Bowling Green. The senior from Gainesville, Florida, with a rushing touchdown, and the Falcons have a commanding 27-6 lead. Less than a minute to go in the half.
That 225 pounds came in handy there. You see it defeat 2 potential blockers and fall over for the extra effort to put the ball in the end zone. Let's see if that ball stretched across the goal line. He did. Touchdown, Falcons.
Anaya PAT makes it 28-6. Kent State had a 3-0 lead in this game. They held Bowling Green's offense in check the first 2 drives. But after that, 14 straight for Bowling Green, and now the Falcons piling it on. A 17-yard gain on 4th and 6 on the fake punt by Jackson Cleather. And then Camden Orth finishes it off with a touchdown run.
And the guys that made this happen was the offensive line. You see hat on a hat, positional blocking, and then Orth getting outside, breaking the 2 tackles and using
Camden Orth, his 4th passing touchdown came on the previous drive. So Bazelak and Orth, add in Fannin Jr. You've had 3 different players take snaps at quarterback for Bowling Green in this first half, all effective. Bowling Green had a squib kick last time on the kickoff from Jack Sauter. Taken at the 20-yard line. It's Shepard who brings it across. Kent State gets the football back. Ulatowski's been solid. 9 of 13, 121 yards, but he's taken 2 sacks and the 1 turnover. Very costly for Kent State.
Yes, and he's had his opportunities to throw the ball deep. Even on the free play to keep the ball in bounds and keep it in play. But he's very efficient right now. He hasn't turned the football over, but they're going to need more from him if they're going to possibly come back and try to win this game.
Ulatowski hands off to Jalen Thomas. Thomas across the 35. It's a first down for Kent State. Clock stops temporarily inside of 2 minutes on the first down. 12-yard gain for Jalen Thomas. Ulatowski snaps it quickly on first down. Across the 50-yard line, Floria has the grab. So Kent State rushes to the line again. Again, clock stops temporarily at 31 seconds.
They have to get lined up, have to get set. Can't snap the ball without everybody being set for a second.
Trips to the top. Ulatowski with time to throw, but nowhere to go with the football. So he tucks it and gets out of bounds with 17 seconds left.
They still have 2 timeouts left. If they can pick up a big chunk play here, you can still rush down and clock it. I would possibly take a timeout. But they have a lot of time here and 2 timeouts.
Andrew Glasser, kicker, missed on his last attempt. but hit from 48 earlier in the first half, 2 for 3. Kicking in the first half for Andrew Glass. Second down, Ulatowski steps up, delivers to the 40-yard line. It's Holmes, the tight end, who has the grab. Clock stops with 10 seconds. Timeout, Kent State with 1 left. So this is an interesting 10 seconds left for Kent State. You've got a chance to move the ball downfield maybe one more time. And if you can complete it, use the timeout to get the field goal unit on potentially for the Golden Flashes.
With 10 seconds here, I think they have time for maybe 2 plays. If you can get a quick one out, get a first down, get a timeout, get up and clock it. You might have time for 2 plays at the most. But you have to be very efficient with what you do. You have to hand the ball to the referee.
You're about 5 yards away from the edge of Andrew Glass's field goal range. His career long is 50 last year versus Ohio. But again, he missed his last field goal attempt off the upright.
Timeout, Bowling Green. Their first charge timeout of the half. 30-second timeout.
Well, for Kenny Burns and Kent State, it was a heartbreaking loss a week ago. They had a 17-point lead against rival Akron and let it all melt away in the fourth quarter. Got off to a solid start tonight, and yet you've done some things right in the first half. And you look up, you're down 28-6. That's got to be disheartening.
Yeah, it's very disheartening, and this is still a young squad. They have a lot of freshmen and sophomores who are just learning how to play this game on a college level. He's finally got them to start fast and learn how to sustain through the middle. They just haven't learned how to finish yet. And here tonight, they're going to learn another lesson. You have to make the plays when the plays count. You can't turn the football over early.
The clock rolling under 10 seconds. Ulatowski tosses incomplete. So you're out of field goal range, 5 seconds, 1 timeout. Floria, the intended receiver. And now likely just a shot to the end zone with 5 seconds left.
Definitely, that's what I'm thinking. Spread the wideouts out, 1 to the top, 3 to the bottom of the screen. You possibly lead a back end for protection. 3-man rush. He's going to have time to be able to maneuver in the pocket, and he has the arm strength to get the ball to the end zone. Hopefully they can come down with a miracle catch.
You see the 3-man rush for Bowling Green. Everybody else deep in the prevent for the Falcons. Ulatowski at the end of the half, desperation for Kent State. Will heave it long to the end zone. It is intercepted in the end zone, picked off by Jalen Burton. It will be the second takeaway. Or was he out of bounds? Regardless, it is the end of the half. See if Burton's credited with an interception.
It looks like it's an interception. That left foot came down inbounds. He got greedy right there. They teach you to go up and knock the ball down so that the offense can't catch it. He's like, you know what? We're up 20-something points. I got to go ahead and pad my stats before half. I agree with you on that one, young man. Great job going up, plucking it with your hands, coming out with the big interception.
Regardless, that is the end of the first half. 28-6 Bowling Green. After the break, it's Josh Pate, Rick Neuheisel, Brian Jones in New York, the Verizon Halftime Report. You're watching college football on CBS Sports Network, presented by Geico. Playbook.
Yeah, we're going to take a look at that big play right before the half. And you see Khalil Sanders here. He's supposed to look like the other 2 linebackers evenly dispersed. They have both safeties taking away both verticals. So they run the safeties out of there. And you see Khalil Sanders. He's supposed to beat his feet there. He's supposed to back up maybe 3 yards from where he started and make this ball get thrown in front of him. You'll see initially he steps up as if he has a man coverage, jumps, and there's nobody in the middle of the field. He vacated the middle of the field.
Embry takes the second half kickoff from near the goal line to near the 25 for Bowling Green. Let's take a look at the first half stats brought to you by Kubota. 10.3 yards per play and a takeaway by the defense. That's the recipe for success for Bowling Green.
And that's astronomical when you think about yards per play. 10-point yards a clip. They're going to have to slow them down at some point if they think they're going to get back into this game. And another thing is bring more pressure. On third down, man coverage on the outside, pressure, and try to heat up the quarterback and force him into some mistakes.
Camden Orth has 3 total touchdowns for Bowling Green, but it's Connor Bazelak at quarterback to begin the second half as he started the first half. Bazelak keeps it on the option, gets across the 30-yard line. So Orth is known for running the football, but Bazelak tucks it and gets a solid gain on first down for Bowling Green.
And Bazelak clearly didn't want to run the football there. You see him curl up on the sideline there. I think that next time they go to that, they'll bring Orth in the game, who's, pretty comfortable getting outside the pocket, challenging the defense. I don't know if they want to run that with Bazelak again.
Keith in the backfield, already over 100 receiving yards in the game for Keith. This time he keeps it on the ground, picks up a first down, breaks a tackle, rolls across the 50 into Kent State territory as Teron Keith, who's done it in the receiving game this time, breaks explosive in the run game.
Like Terrion Stewart to me, you see the hesitation, making the middle linebacker miss, and then getting outside to the sideline to pick up the first down. I like what Keith is providing to this offense tonight, providing big plays, explosive plays, catching the ball out of the backfield and running it.
Fannin just 10 yards away from 100. Keith and Fannin, the only duo in the FBS to have over 100 receiving yard games. Keith breaks this one inside the 20-yard line. Keith takes it inside the 15. Lost the football at the end, but he's down by contact. Keith and Fannin, the only 100-plus, neither of whom were a wide receiver. So Keith back to the more traditional run game. Had 23 on the previous game. Two trips, 2 touchdowns. Excellent execution for Bowling Green tonight.
And on that last run from Keith,
tonight's Red Zone
to the third level.
Brought to you by Verizon. You see the perfect results for Bowling Green tonight. Bazelak motions out prior to the snap.
The previous play is under further review.
Looks like the end of the play, whether the ball came out from Teron Keith. The ball definitely comes out. It's just ruled down before the ball came out. Looks like Nick Jackalone was the linebacker who makes the tackle and was closest to the play.
And that's a fumble.
That ball's
you see,
out.
That's an intentional swipe out there. And let's check the recovery. Oh, it looks like the Falcons recovered it back, but that was a clear fumble. And that's what you're taught to do as a defender. If you're running up on a ball carrier and he can't see you, you're supposed to go for the football, then secure the tackle. Good job of getting it out. You just have to secure it on the ground. There's 2 Golden Flash defenders there. You have to, one of those guys have to lay on him, and then the other has to go ahead and just possess the football. It's very difficult.
So you think this is going to remain Bowling Green football with Keith getting back on top of it?
Yes, I think this is going to remain Bowling Green football. Keith was able to pull the football in. Just a missed opportunity for the Golden Flashes there.
After review, the ruling on the field stands. Bowling Green, first down.
It's a gain of 30 by Teron Keith. The last 2 plays, 53 rushing yards from Teron Keith. And even though the ball comes out, Bowling Green able to get back on top of it. Would have been just the 3rd fumble recovery of the year by Kent State. But instead, it's another red zone trip for Bowling Green from the 14.
And I'll tell you who they're missing. They're missing their linebackers. Devin Nicholson and C.J. Harris is really showing up tonight.
Bazelak complete. Hilaire cutting it back inside the 10. Hilaire with the gain of 7 on first down.
We have a Golden Flash player down with an injury.
It's Tyler Baylor, the senior defensive end, Maryland transfer, who's down for the Golden Flashes. And while they tend to Tyler Baylor, we'll step aside.
Your paint is really bad. What? I said best coffee I've ever had. Should've used Bear. Sorry, sign where? No, I said
Titanium. We do have free movies with the purchase of headphones.
I'll just use my iPhone.
Only AT&T gives everyone our best deals on any iPhone with any popular plan. Guaranteed. Get iPhone 15 Pro on us.
Tyler Baylor able to walk off to the Kent State sideline by himself, so good sign for the Golden Flashes, for the senior defensive end. However, the Kent State defense is backed up. 2nd and 3 in the red zone. They've gone to Camden Orth as the red zone quarterback tonight and much of the year, but it's Connor Bazelak still in there at QB. The former Missouri Tiger and Indiana Hoosier. Bowling Green, his 3rd stop in his college career. The native of Dayton. Bazelak on 2nd and 3. Shovel toss, Fannin. Golden Flash is right on top of it as Fannin gets 2 to bring up 3rd down on the shovel to the tight end Harold Fannin Jr.
They're really featuring Harold Fannin Jr. tonight. They're really trying to get him into the end zone any way they can. They use a lot of eye candy there, the motions and the shifts, knowing things happen quickly down here in the red zone, hoping to get the defense to flow to the right and then sneak Fannin Jr. into the end zone with the flip play. Great job of staying disciplined and keeping your eyes on your work as a defense.
Bazelak goes under center on 3rd and 1. Fake it to Fannin. Bazelak tosses. Incomplete. Stretching out, reaching out to make the grab is Gazaric, the tight end. But they're in coverage, Capone Blue.
And that's a great job of Capone Blue locking his eyes on his coverage. Nearly allow the tight end to get outside leverage on him, but continued to fight. And you see it, he almost pulled that in with one hand. Just the ground caused the PBU there.
4th and 1, offense stays on the field. Here comes Camden Orth. Looking for the 10th 4th down conversion of the year for Bowling Green. Orth back into the shotgun on 4th and 1. Orth is going to pull it. Orth is dropped, and Kent State comes up with a 4th down stop. Orth is hammered by Bryce Shepard for the 4th down stop.
And that's what I like to see. That's textbook play from the middle field safety, Bryce Shepard, in the red zone. You have one job here. Your job is you're responsible for the quarterback, and he takes no false steps. He goes low, flips him on his helmet. And what did they tell us? What did defensive coordinator Dave Duggan tell us? He said he's their most physical defender, and he showed it right there.
So a bright spot for Kent State. They finally stop Bowling Green in the red zone. Backed up, Jalen Thomas gets the 1st down carry for a couple. Shepard getting props on the Kent State sideline for that nice 4th down stop.
And he deserves it. That's a great job of staying locked in on your work, locked in on your responsibility, and then coming up with the play in the big hit when it matters. They have a lot of room to the top of the screen here, one-on-one. If they want to go for an explosive and try to get behind the defense, get some good protection and just throw it up there and allow the guy to go up and make a 50-50 catch.
Fake it, toss it. It's complete to Trell Harris, spinning away from the defender for a 1st down to the 23-yard line. Patrick Day makes the stop after a gain of 15.
RPO action, getting the linebacker sucked up. And I like to see Trell Harris go in the middle of the defense again after taking that big hit earlier. He has a lot of courage for a guy that's 5'11", 180 pounds. Great job of securing the football and picking up the 1st down.
Tommy Ulatowski fakes the handoff, throws to the outside. It is caught by Gardner just short of the 1st down. It's a gain of 9 on 1st down.
And that's a long throw, and you see it there. Set up the route, get up on the toes of the defensive back, and then come back for the football and snag it with your hands.
On 2nd and 1, Jalen Thomas has a 1st down, shaking his way to the 45-yard line for the Golden Flashes. That's a gain of 13 for Jalen Thomas.
And there has been some room inside for Jalen Thomas tonight. Early in the first quarter, he had an explosive run, and you see it there. Stepping over the tacklers and finishing a physical run, picking up another first down. I like when the golden flashes are in this up-tempo offense.
Snap it again on first down. Ulatowski going up to grab it. Harris. And Trell Harris hangs on to the football as the Falcons try to rip it away. Deshaun Jones Jr. going for the rip. Harris hangs on.
Trell Harris did a really good job of double pumping. That reminds me of high school basketball when I used to go up and slam dunk it with two hands. I had to double pump it. Great job of going up, securing it with the hands and bringing it down.
I want to check the tape on that.
I'll bring it in.
Dunk.
I'll bring it in off vertical at 5'10".
Take the handoff. Pressure coming. Ulatowski sacked for the third time. The ball's out, but Ulatowski was down. The third sack of the night by Bowling Green. Darren Anders has his second sack of the night. Now 34 sacks on the year on Kent State quarterbacks.
And they brought the blitz there. He had a wide open running back flanking to the top of the screen. And this is where that internal clock has to go off. You have to get rid of the football. They're bringing a six-man pressure. The ball has to come out quick.
Looks like Howell and Anders will share that sack, but it's a loss of 5.
Surveying the defense. A lot of zone coverage. They have two safeties back. They could potentially run the football here.
2nd and 15. A short handoff. Get you back to the original line of scrimmage. Jalen Thomas. Looks like it's going to be 3rd and 11 coming up for Kent State.
And I like them in the up-tempo. It seems like they're in a rhythm when they get up to the ball, see what the coverage is, call the play at the line of scrimmage, and then run it. A lot of defenders at the line of scrimmage. He might have to throw hot again. Trell Harris at the bottom of the screen is going to have to be ready for a slant or a hot shot.
Falcons drop. So 3rd and 11. Ulatowski throws, almost picked off. It's incomplete, intended for Floria. Jackson lays out, and Jordan Jackson nearly got the interception.
That time they showed 6-7 at the line of scrimmage, and they bailed upon the snap of the ball. But there was a tight end running up the middle of the defense that didn't seem like he was too interested in running his route. Could have come wide open, but that was a dangerous throw on the outside. These defenders, specifically the secondary players, are ball hawks back there. And they're getting their hands. They're getting very close to getting an interception.
Josh Smith punts. Jalen Embry is back. Embry lets it bounce, and it checks up for Kent State. They'll down it inside the 2-yard line. Excellent punt from Josh Smith. But Bowling Green in command, 28-6 on Kent State.
Your biggie bag, all that food for $5, that's my go-to.
Ooh, that's my ride or die.
Just like you and me, bag boys.
The NFL is on CBS and streaming on Paramount Plus. CJ Stroud doing Buckeye Nation proud.
Absolutely, and did you see some of those tight spirals last week that he threw?
Yes,
I think DeMeco Ryans and the Houston Texans, they found their franchise quarterback, and nobody really expected this from CJ Stroud, except for Buckeye Nation. Great job, CJ, of leading that franchise to an incredible win and having an incredible day of almost 500 passing yards and 5 touchdowns.
Bowling Green backed up. They're going to be backed up 1 more yard as Wolschlager.
False start. Offense, number 50. Half of this is the goal. First down.
So from the 2 to the 1.
Usually the offensive lines are taught that when they're backed up right there. They know that a penalty for them is, 6 inches? A penalty trying to draw the defense off is 5 yards.
So Bazelak out of his own end zone. Teron Keith takes it just across the goal line. Forward progress out to the 1. Kent State signaling safety, but forward progress back to the line of scrimmage.
And that's a great job from the interior of the defensive line, getting penetration there, creating a pile at the feet. You'll see it, creating a pile there, disengaging from the block and wrapping up the back close to a safety.
Fannin Jr. in the backfield with Bazelak and Jason Patterson. Looks like Bowling Green discombobulated prior to second down.
Timeout, Bowling Green. Their first charge timeout of the half.
Falcons take a timeout, backed up, but in the lead, 28-6.
For your husband, iPhone 15 Pro.
Carolers, to tell me you want a new iPhone, a better plan's Verizon.
No way they take this wreck.
Yes, they will, and you'll get iPhone 15 Pro and Apple TV 4K and Apple One.
Orth onto that for Bowling Green. He has 2 rushing touchdowns and 1 passing touchdown. They've used Orth in the red zone, but backed up inside the 1. It's Bazelak at quarterback for Bowling Green now on 2nd and 11. Jason Patterson joins Bazelak in the backfield. Out of the gun, Bazelak to throw on 2nd and 11. Just heaves it from his own end zone to the sideline. Incomplete to bring up 3rd and 11.
That was a great job of getting immediate pressure, almost flushing Bazelak from the pocket. And it was very, very close to an intentional grounding penalty there. And if that happens in the end zone, they give the 2 points to the Golden Flashers. Great job of being locked in the secondary and with the intentional, consistent pressure.
See how exotic Kent State gets on 3rd down. They drop, Bazelak throws, check down complete, get it out to the 9-yard line, and that's it. Austin Osborne makes the grab, but it's going to be 3 and out. Bowling Green will punt from its own end zone.
The Golden Flash defense fooled me there. They had 5 defensive backs across the yellow line on where they had to get for the first down. They had the linebackers up in there like a zero all-out blitz, and then upon the snap of the ball, they bailed out and forced the quick throw, and then they converged on it, gang tackled it, and got it down before he got the first down. That's great execution.
Jackson Cleather had the 17-yard gain on the fake. Last time he was called on, now it's Cleather punting from his own end zone. Cleather hits it at the goal line. Floria is back. He will let it bounce. It is a short punt, out of bounds. No, it checks back, almost went out of bounds. And now rolls to the 39, where Kent State will have a short field. Just 30 yards on the punt. Saturday, the SEC on CBS is highlighted by a fantastic matchup between number 13 Tennessee and number 14 Missouri. Live coverage begins at 3:30 Eastern Saturday. The SEC on CBS and streaming on Paramount Plus. Last 2 seasons, 40-plus points. 2 of them in the SEC. Georgia's gone 14-0 when 40-plus. Tennessee's gone 12-0 when 40-plus. Oregon and Washington on that number as well. The 2 terrific teams in the Pac-12 this year. Ulatowski to throw on 1st and 10. That is caught inbounds or out of bounds. Harris.
Second down.
Incomplete. Second down.
Again, going with the RPO game and trying to get to the individual route on the outside. You see Trell Harris just trying to get that right foot down. He just couldn't because he had to stretch so far out of bounds to get to the football.
Jalen Husky with the push to help him out of bounds too. Anders showing pressure as Kent State checks to the sideline. We'll see if Bowling Green brings the backer again. Here's Anders creeping up on 2nd and 10. Here he comes, running right into it. And a minimal gain on 2nd down by Jalen Thomas.
And that's a good job of the run stunt there. Linebacker looping off the edge. Defensive line stunting across, getting penetration, and then coming away with the TFL. They're really getting very aggressive, the Falcon defense is, and they look like they're going to get aggressive here on this 3rd down.
Here they come on 3rd and 9. Ulatowski throwing to try to beat the blitz. Incomplete. Downfield flag is thrown. Husky tangled up with Trell Harris. Looks like the flag on Jalen Husky.
And for all the great things that Jalen Husky does, 4 interceptions on the season.
Prior to the pass, holding, defense, number 22. 10-yard penalty for the previous spot, automatic, first down.
And you'll see it there. He's running for a cutoff zone, and he did grab around and reach around Trell Harris, and you see the ref is standing right there. He's going to call that every time. But for the most part, Husky has played a really good game. He's been good with his eyes. I like the efficiency in his breaks. You just have to not grab there to pick up that penalty.
Automatic first down on the defensive hold. RPO, caught, touchdown Kent State. Junker into the end zone, the tight end, Hayden Junker, and the Golden Flashes finally find the end zone. 21 yards, Ulatowski to Junker.
And when you have an overly aggressive defense, you see a play action fake, that's Anders' man. But if it was a run play, he would have to run into him and turn the ball back. That's how you sneak behind a very aggressive defense, is with the pop pass earlier to the tight end, and then they're sneaking the tight end up, who was aligned at fullback, past Anders for another touchdown.
First touchdown catch for Junker in his senior year. PAT from Andrew Glass is good, and Kent State has its first touchdown. Ulatowski touchdown pass number 7 on the season. The defense brings up the short field for Kent State, and the Golden Flashes turn into their first touchdown of the night. Still not done tonight at Dick Stadium.
Meet the traveling trio. The thrill seeker, the soul searcher, and ahoy, it's the explorer. Each helping to protect their money with Chase.
Green still in the mix in the East. Toledo's rolling over Eastern Michigan. They're up 35-3 at the half. So the Rockets trying to go to 9-1 overall, 6-0. Top the West in the MAC. Kent State, meanwhile, is winless in MAC play. Their only win is over Central Connecticut State this year. But the touchdown by Kent State gives them some life here in the second half against Bowling Green. Kickoff by Andrew Glass. Be fair caught by Keith. Bring it out to the 25-yard line.
Ball will be placed at the 25-yard line. First down.
And Coach Scott Loeffler has to be concerned, because last week Kent State was up 17 points with 9.5 minutes remaining over Akron and ended up losing that ball game. When you think about this late score here, with 5 minutes left in the third quarter and an entire fourth quarter to play, only down 2 scores, Kent State believes that they can come back and win this game. But it's going to start with defense here. They need another 3 and out or turnover to get the ball back for their offense.
Camden Orth at quarterback. He's going to run it on first down. Orth gets just a yard before the Golden Flashes rally to the football. Bryce Shepard leads the way for Kent State. Orth has a tremendous line at quarterback. He has 2 rushing touchdowns, passing 2 for 2, 74 yards, 1 touchdown. So 3 total touchdowns for the senior from Gainesville, Florida, Camden Orth.
And Kent State's defense is locked in right now. They know when Cameron Orth is in the game, he's either going to run the ball or they're taking shots downfield. Did a good job of setting the edge.
Direct snap, Bannon Jr. Big hole on the left side, across the 35, across the 40-yard line for Harold Fannin Jr. The tight end slash running back slash QB gets 15 more.
And he got up kind of slow there. You see he take the big hit. Like he fell on his right shoulder, elbow area a little awkwardly. But you're right, he's been doing it all. Catching the ball, play action pass, running past the defense, playing running back, wide receiver. Hopefully he's okay and can return to this game.
Teron Keith in the backfield. Orth is going to keep it again on 1st and 10, ridden out of bounds. Abu Hamda on the stop. The true freshman walk-on player. Kent State, because of the injuries, including to Devin Nicholson, going deep on the depth chart, but the coaches like what they've seen from Abu Hamda.
Yeah, 6'2", 215-pound walk-on, and they said he has something about him where we believe that he can go out and make plays, and on a few occasions tonight, we've seen him set the edge and really make some good tackles on the sideline. 2nd and 10 here. This Kent State Golden Flash team has to get the ball back and find a way to stop this offense. They want to keep this close.
Play clock winding down. Orth just gets it off. Finds Keith. shaking his way across the 45. Keith with 185 yards of total offense in this game, receiving and rushing. He has been the playmaker in place of the injured Terrion Stewart.
And on that one, they played a cover 2, which means the corner is sitting in the flat, and to Teron Keith's side, they continue to run that breakout from the backfield. The corner did a good job of breaking on it. He didn't make the tackle, but he turned him back into the teeth of the defense, setting it up for a 3rd and 6 here. Like they're going to get some pressure and play some man coverage on the back end.
Orth feels the pressure, pump fakes, tucks it, runs on 3rd and 6. Orth has a first down, goes tumbling across the 45-yard line. Camden Orth just picks it up himself.
And Orth is moving at another speed, and you see it here. He wanted to throw it to the left initially. Yep, he pulled the ball back in, was decisive, took off, and he's running with no fear in the middle of that defense, picking up the first down. I'm liking the competitive nature of Orth once he's entered this game. 2 rushing touchdowns, a passing touchdown. Tonight has been the Orth show.
And now Orth goes to the sideline. Bazelak back at quarterback, and here comes another false start against Bowling Green. This one on Nate Pabst, looks like. Although this requires some discussion, so we'll see.
Offside, defense, number 92. Movement, causing the offense to false start. 5-yard penalty, first down.
Well, that's a tough break against Kent State. Javier Duran called for the offsides, drawing Pabst into the false start. That movement causes Pabst to jump. It's a 5-yard penalty, making it 1st and 5 for Bowling Green.
And that's what they teach all offensive linemen to do. If somebody on your side of the ball flinches, you tap the helmet.
Now a false start by the Falcons.
Illegal snap, offense, number 57. 5-yard penalty, first down.
Second illegal snap on Alex Padgett, the 3rd penalty on Bowling Green's sophomore center.
And sometimes this can happen when you feel like you have the game in control. You have the tendency to relax. And if they change the count in the huddle, you see, and this shouldn't be the center. The center should know when the ball is getting snapped.
Bazelak on 1st and 10, pumps, check down to Ron Keith, adding to his total, nearing 190 all-purpose yards in the game for Teron Keith. Takes it inside the 40.
And it's clear when they entered tonight's ball game, they had 3 players that they were going to get the football to. They were going to utilize Orth's legs from the backfield, Teron Keith running and catching it, and then Harold Jr. rushing and catching it as well. And they're continuing to pound those 3 guys.
Pressure on 2nd and 5. Patterson runs right into the pressure. Gets a couple to make it 3rd and 3. With just 33 seconds left in the 3rd. So we'll see if Bowling Green wants to take this one to the 4th, and they will. So the lone touchdown of the 3rd quarter belongs to Kent State. Giving a little juice on the sideline for Kenny Burns and the Golden Flashes. But Bowling Green takes a 28-13 lead to the 4th quarter. That is the end of the 3rd quarter, 28-13 Bowling Green on Kent State. The Golden Flashes blew a big lead last week. Do they have a comeback in the 4th here at home at Dick's Stadium? You're watching college football on CBS Sports Network, presented by Geico. Yards, you add that up, 191 yards of total offense through 3 quarters for Teron Keith. Camden Orth has 3 touchdowns tonight. He had only 5 touchdowns total on the season, 2 rushing touchdowns, 1 passing touchdown. Our Geico difference makers, both from Bowling Green. We begin the 4th quarter with 3rd and 3 for the Falcons. Connor Bazelak at quarterback now for Bowling Green. quick hitter, almost picked on 3rd and 3. Nick Jackalone nearly had a pick for Kent State. But it brings up 4th and 3 for the Falcons. It looks like Bazelak and the offense will stay on the field here in no man's land.
And when you look at the defense pre-snap, it looked like he was going to be able to nail that ball in there, and 24 just didn't back up. He has to get both hands on that ball and can run it back for a touchdown. There's nobody in front of him, and it's an entirely different game if he catches and makes a play on that football.
Bowling Green going forward on 4th down. Hilaire goes in motion. Bazelak, pressure picked up. Now Bazelak tosses it. What a grab by Keith. First down on the 4th down conversion. The shovel toss from Bazelak to Teron Keith to convert on 4th down.
And Keith is really just locked in. You see it there. The ball wasn't even supposed to go to him. Bazelak really was just trying to make something happen. Flips it up, one-hand catch, breaks the tackle, and continues his great night of offensive production. You see it. He wasn't even supposed to get the ball. He was in the protection, cut block, gets off the ground, and catches a ball with one hand. Great job, Keith.
Now Camden Orth at quarterback. On the design QB run, Orth gets not even a yard on 1st down.
And this is a point in the game where you can expect the Falcons to try to just pound it and run the clock down. They want to get out of here with a win. They see how hard these golden flashes are continuing to play. They watched that game last week versus Akron and watch Akron fight back in the 4th quarter and win it. They don't want that to happen to them here tonight.
Pressure off the edge. Orth pump fake. Orth going to toss wide open, stretching out, hauling it in inside the 5-yard line. That's Finn Hogan with just his 11th catch of the year, and it's a remarkable grab for the sophomore tight end.
And number 51, Syed Abu Hamadeh, was responsible for this pass catcher here. His eyes in the backfield, staring at the quarterback, and it's just an easy throw. It should have been a touchdown. If he keeps his feet there, he easily walks into the end zone.
On 1st and goal, Orth from the gun gives it to Keith, who walks into the end zone. Touchdown, Bowling Green. Teron Keith untouched into the end zone. Bowling Green 34-13 now on Kent State.
And this is the first time I can say all night that the Falcons entered the red zone with zero resistance. I don't think he was touched by a defender there on that run. It looked like they all stopped playing there to me. Easiest touchdown of the season for Teron Keith.
Teron Keith's first rushing touchdown of the night, just the 2nd rushing touchdown of the season for Teron Keith. On his career night, he set a career high in rushing yards already, nearing a career high in receiving yards. Keith untouched into the end zone. 35-13 now. Falcons on the Golden Flashes.
Want to know the secret ingredients running my business? Being all of...
Take a look at the touchdown for Bowling Green.
Whenever you have one back in the backfield, everybody's responsible for one gap, one gap, one gap, one gap, one gap, one gap. So you'll see it here. Tyler Baylor has to be in this inside gap right here, not too caught up with the tight end. You step to the tight end, you're going to create a space. You see all that room? That's on Tyler Baylor. He has to get in that gap, make the tackle, and then the rest of the defensive linemen, they have to be stout and not get washed to the right side of the defense so they can come back and help on that tackle, but he's supposed to be in that gap.
So Keith's career night continues. You add those numbers up. 207 yards of total offense now for Teron Keith. They have relied on him as a playmaker without Terrion Stewart. The sophomore is averaging 6 yards a carry. Shepard upended as he crosses the 25-yard line for Kent State. So A career night rushing for Teron Keith. He's been a dangerous receiver out of the backfield, but he's taken it to a next level tonight.
Yeah, well, coming into the game, we knew that they would feature him to try to get some of that production back from Stewart not being in there, catching the ball up the middle of the field, explosive plays, running it in the red zone. This is a career night for Teron Keith.
Keith had the go-ahead touchdown last week versus Ball State on a receiving touchdown. 1 receiving touchdown tonight, 1 rushing touchdown tonight. And now Kent State takes over. Little momentum in the third quarter with the touchdown. Now desperation as Ulatowski completes to the edge. Trell Harris makes the grab for a first down for Kent State. It's a gain of 16.
Okay, more of that. Get up to the football. Get back into the no huddle. Like we have a flag down on the field.
Looking for the flag, but regardless, there's a huddle. Here's the call from Andrew Special.
The result of the play is a first down for Kent State. After the play, personal foul, late hit, unnecessary roughness, 75, Kent State. 15-yard penalty from the end of the run. It'll be 1st and 10, Kent State.
So a gain of 16 on the completion, but you back up 15 on the unsportsmanlike against Andrew Page. And what looked like a good drive starter ends up in just 1 yard for your offense.
Which is no different how they started the game. They wanted to start the game fast. They came out, scored 3 points. They've had some self-inflicted penalties and wounds. And here in the fourth quarter, they're doing the same thing. They just cannot get right tonight.
Falcons show pressure on first down and now back off. Fake it to Garcia. Ulatowski pressured. Ulatowski has to just throw it away. It's incomplete, and the Falcons are calling for grounding on Ulatowski. We'll get another discussion between Andrew Special and his crew to see if this is grounding on Tommy Ulatowski.
And for the Falcons, this is fun time. When you are up on a team 35-13.
Here's the call.
Intentional grounding. Offense, number 14. Lost it down to the spot of the foul. Second down.
Back-to-back consequential penalties against Kent State. One on Page, and now this one on Ulatowski.
And it's the right call. Initially, he had good protection, and with the RPO game, you can't expect your offensive lineman to hold up that long at the line of scrimmage. You have to have an escape plan. You get rid of the football, throw it away, or you get it to a quick receiver right now, but you can't hold on to that ball. So that's all on you, on the quarterback.
Loss of 10, loss of down, 2nd and 20. Ulatowski pressured again. This time he gets rid of it, but incomplete. Looking for Gardner. Davon Ferguson, the nickel there in coverage on Gardner. And what looked like a good start to the drive and maybe some momentum for Kent State. Now you're 3rd and 20, backed up in your own territory.
And even on that play there, you saw Ulatowski take another hit. This is when the defensive ends and the defensive linemen just pin their ears back and they want to go pad their stats. So this offensive line is going to have to make sure that they protect him for the remainder of this game. There's not too many plays drawn up for 3rd and 20, especially when you have a defensive line like this that can get after the quarterback.
Falcons bring 4 on 3rd and 20, still get pressure with 4. Ulatowski on the roll, looking for anything to do with the football. He tucks it, is shoved out of bounds from behind by Dier Kelly, but nowhere near the first down. Kent State will have to punt. Another frustrating possession for the Golden Flashes.
Yeah, and right there, that's a run stunt. You see number 33 up and under on the inside of 38, and there's no one open downfield. So Ulatowski just has to take what he can get and get out of bounds, not take a big hit.
That's good pursuit from the big man, Dier Kelly, too. He's moving his 270-pound frame.
He's trying to pad those stats and get that sack. I know what he's up to.
Josh Smith gets it away. Embry grabs it at the 35, and he is drilled as soon as he gets it. So Kent State gets down on special teams and gets a stop. Goodell makes the special teams stop, but Bowling Green in command in the 4th.
Ain't no secret in standing your pride.
This Veterans Day, go beyond thanks to make a difference with USAA.
Wednesday night action. Bowling Green has brought the fight to Kent State in the 91st meeting between the Falcons and the Golden Flashes. Kent State has won 5 straight in this series, but Jason Patterson and Bowling Green trying to run the football and run the clock here in the fourth quarter and get out of here with win number 6. That's a 15-yard gain by Patterson.
And I think that this is how they're going to finish the game here. They're going to run the football. They're going to use this dominant offensive line. And you see all these backs have stepped up tonight and carried the load for Stewart.
When Bowling Green beat Georgia Tech, they ran it 45 times against the Yellow Jackets. They've only had to run it 26 times tonight against Kent State. But here in the fourth quarter, Patterson gets it again. Patterson gets maybe a yard on first down. But that's what Bowling Green wants to do, control the line of scrimmage by running the football, play action out of that. They've just gotten so many explosive plays tonight, they haven't had to pound it much.
And since head coach Scott Loeffler came here to Bowling Green, that's been their identity. They wanted to build this team the right way, and they wanted to be big, strong, and nasty up front. They wanted backs that can make you miss and run through contact, and this is exactly what they have, and it's the identity of this offense.
Bazelak to throw on 2nd and 9. Bullet intercepted, picked off by Bryce Shepard. Kent State football at the 45 as Bazelak throws his 7th INT of the year. Shepard, the senior playmaker, comes up with a takeaway for Kent State.
And that was a very tight spot for Bazelak to try to fit that ball in there. And it's a great job from Bryce Shepard of not false stepping, getting his hands under the football and coming away with the big turnover. Let's take another look at it. Looked like he actually caught it with his legs. It looked like it made it through his arms to his legs. He rolled over and was able to possess the football. Great play from Bryce Shepard.
It is just the 8th takeaway by the Kent State defense this year. And we're going to take a further look at it. Replay official Andrew McGrath wants to make sure that Shepard came away with the football, controlling it, and the ball didn't hit the ground. That has been the knock on Bazelak and the Falcons, even though they've had so many takeaways. The turnover margin's only +6 for Bowling Green, because this would be, if it stands, the 13th interception thrown by Bowling Green this season. Let's see, anything to overturn that?
I don't think there's anything to overturn that. It looked like the ball went through his hands. He rolled over. It's in his legs. You see it's right there in between his calves. Still doesn't look like it hit the ground. I don't know, maybe right there it hit the ground and he trapped it with his right arm. But it's just a phenomenal play. Rolled over. I don't know if you're going to be able to overturn that. I don't know if there's...
Well, the rule book is pretty clear that the football can move, but as long as you maintain control, the movement of the football doesn't necessarily mean it's incomplete and therefore overturned. So you're going to have indisputable video evidence or Andrew McGrath to overturn that one on the field. And even though that comes dangerously close to coming out for Bryce Shepard, it looks like between the hands and the legs of Bryce Shepard, he appears to maintain control. Let's look at it again. Oh, here comes the call.
After review, the ruling on the field stands. It'll be Kent State's ball, 1st and 10 from the 44-yard line.
Just the 6th interception of the year by the Kent State Golden Flashes. INT number 13 thrown by Bowling Green.
And that's a great job. They were trying to go isolation, one-on-one with the outside backer there. And you see Bryce Shepard with the double team inside of the back. The awareness to go down and get the ball. Great play.
Ulatowski play action on first down. Everybody covered. So on the roll, still nowhere to go with the football. Checks down to the tight end, rather to Gardner, who makes the grab at the 47. That's a good job of remaining patient by Ulatowski to find Gardner.
And now they're going to get up and get back into this up-tempo offense. Taking a lot of time to get up to the ball.
Ulatowski in just his 2nd career start. fake it again, hit as he throws. He was crushed, but manages to complete it to the 45. It's Gardner again for a first down for Kent State, but Ulatowski took a big pop.
Yes, and he's standing in there, taking the hits, delivering accurate footballs on the outside, and you have to respect it. Off the RPO game, you see Anders, he actually stopped and then restarted and still got a hit on the quarterback.
Throwing again on 1st and 10. Tight window, incomplete. Intended for Gardner again. Jalen Husky in coverage for Bowling Green.
That was a tough throw and catch right there. You're running an inside breaking route with a safety sitting there playing cover 4. He's taught if number 1 doesn't go vertical, you double number 2. He could have potentially threw an interception there with the safety sitting inside. This is one where I like to see a double move down here, number 82.
Gardner's at the bottom of the screen, 82. Instead of run on 2nd and 10, Jalen Thomas takes it inside the 40-yard line. Brought down by Lorfils.
One thing about the Golden Flashes, they're continuing to compete. You don't see them taking plays off. You don't see them looking at the clock saying, let's get out of here. They're actually trying to score points and still competing at a high level.
On 3rd and 4, complete to Floria for a first down. Move the chains for Kent State.
This is what I thought earlier in the game when they were in an up-tempo, they were in a rhythm, that they probably should have stayed in that and put some pressure on the Falcons defense. And you see it again here. Late in the game, getting in a rhythm, RPO game, getting up, getting the ball snapped, and they're picking up yards consistently.
On 1st and 10, Ulatowski airs it out, caught inside the 10-yard line. Harris fighting his way to get near the 5. It's 1st and goal, Kent State. Ulatowski finds Trell Harris.
And truthfully, with that coverage that they played to that side, the ball should never go into that hole. They're playing cover 2. The corner, you have to get a reroute. The safety, you can't turn your shoulders and your hips and start to wander towards the middle of the field. You have to be able to break on that ball 1/3 the distance the ball is in the air.
After a gain of 28, 1st and goal handoff to Jalen Thomas. Takes it to the 2. Well, the mantra for Kent State football is grow, respond with integrity together. The Golden Flash is fighting and into the end zone. Touchdown, Jalen Thomas. Kent State fighting in the 4th to put a scare into Bowling Green.
And he ran behind all 215 pounds there. Good job of the Flashes coming out, continuing to compete, going to the up-tempo, connecting on some explosive plays, and then there, in the red zone, Jalen Thomas lowering his shoulder and running over 2 defenders. Now they're going to go for the 2 here.
Ulatowski from the gun on the 2-point conversion. Floria goes in motion, fake it to him. Ulatowski stood up and driven back. It was Josh Sipp Jr., the Will linebacker, who put the hit on Ulatowski. The 2-point conversion fails, but Kent State gets in the end zone. Just the 2nd rushing touchdown of the year for Jalen Thomas, the Colorado State transfer. The interception from Bryce Shepard turns into a touchdown for the Golden Flashes. The 2-point conversion fails after the TD from Jalen Thomas. Bowling Green still leads it 35-19 in Kent.
And now what Ulatowski is about. Last week, 4 total touchdowns. This week, coming out, continuing to fight, leading them to a late score. He might have found his quarterback.
Kent State had an infamous onside kick to begin the game against Eastern Michigan. No onside kick here as Glass kicks it to the goal line. Embry will bring it out across the 25-yard line. Embry has a block, slips across the 40, across the 45. Embry all the way into Golden Flash territory inside the 40-yard line. Jalen Embry breaks it for Bowling Green.
When faking the onside kick goes wrong, usually when you fake the onside kick, you condense one side of the field. You have your players running down there, and if the front line get blocked, it could be a potential for a huge return, and that's what happened there. They squeezed all the way to the left side of the field. They broke it back outside and almost went back for a touchdown. That's a huge play right now, being down 2 scores.
After the 60-yard return from Jalen Embry, it's Camden Orth at quarterback for Bowling Green. Bazelak had the interception on the last Bowling Green possession. Let's see if the Falcons can run the football and run the clock by design. Teron Keith gets maybe a yard on first down. Stephen Daly makes the stop.
And the Golden Flashes are thinking 3 and out here. You don't want to give up 10 yards. You'll give them field goal range and opportunity for a field goal. So you have to load the box up, safeties down, man coverage, and get off the field 3 and out.
Jason Patterson in at running back. Pressure coming off the edge. Orth tucks it, runs, spins ahead for a gain of a couple, but that's about it. C.J. West, the senior defensive tackle, makes a stop to force third down.
And that's a good job. Second consecutive play, getting defensive linemen and linebackers blitzing off the edge in the backfield. Third and medium here. You can expect some man coverage, some type of internal pressure. But you want to get off the field here. An interception or a turnover is better. But if you can get a PBU, an incomplete pass, and get the clock stopped, you give yourself a chance to get it back, go down and score, and be down one score.
4 wide on 3rd and 7. Orth will hand off to Ron Keith, shaking his way across the 30, breaks it inside the 20, runs out of bounds. A little lame for Teron Keith going out of bounds, but he picks up another first down on his career night, and now Teron Keith goes to the turf. It's a gain of 25 more for Teron Keith, but that is troublesome for Bowling Green. You're without Terrion Stewart. Teron Keith has been the offense tonight for Bowling Green, but he's down holding on to his right knee.
You just hate to see that after this magnificent game that this young man put on tonight. You hate to see that, especially late in the 4th quarter after he gave you all that he has. Hopefully he's okay. And you see it there, just whoop. That was the move that separated that outside stick, and then you see it here. I'm not really sure when it happened, but you know it had to happen earlier because he had an opportunity to continue to run to the end zone, but it was just, right there, the plant off of pulling his leg out of the grass. And that just doesn't look good.
Keith tonight, 233 yards of total offense, a career high 103 rushing yards, 130 yards receiving, 2 touchdowns. And yet Teron Keith walks slowly back across the field to the Bowling Green bench here in the 4th. And you hope he is okay for the road ahead for Bowling Green. He's been huge tonight in place of the injured Terrion Stewart. Out with a lower extremity injury, and you see Keith trying to jog it out as he heads back to the sideline. That's a good sign for Teron Keith. A gain of 25 allows Bowling Green to possess the football into the red zone. You're under 6 minutes now, and Bowling Green commands both the scoreboard and the clock at this point.
And at this point, you want to mitigate the risk of any of your top offensive playmakers or offensive linemen getting injured. So I think that you just go ahead, pound the ball, run it. You don't snap this ball until there's 2, maybe 1 second left on the play clock.
Camden Orth at quarterback. He's going to keep it on first down. Orth with a good block takes it inside the 5. It was Harold Fannin Jr. with the block, leading Orth inside the 5.
And Orth has really done a good job of reading the defensive ends here. You see everybody crash down. He keeps the ball on the outside. And there are defensive backs. We talked about this with defensive coordinator Dave Duggan. You have to get outside half a man stay at the line of scrimmage, get off the blocks. That's just so simple that it's almost comical that it continues to happen. They have to do a better job even next week and next season going to the offseason of working on containing from the secondary position.
2nd and 1. Ort's going to hand off to Patterson, pushing his way into the end zone. Touchdown, Bowling Green. Jason Patterson into the end zone. The 3rd down conversion from Teron Keith sets up Bowling Green after the 25-yard gain, and Jason Patterson finishes off the drive with another rushing touchdown for the Falcons.
Offensive line still doing a good job of firing off in the middle of that defense, and Jason Patterson says, hey, I can't let Teron Keith have all the fun. I got to get in the end zone myself. Good job of fighting for the extra yards and falling across the goal line.
A Bowling Green offense averaging 22 points a game has put up 42 tonight in Kent. Anaya's point after touchdown makes it 42-19. 5 minutes to go in the 4th. Bowling Green is 5 minutes away from bowl eligibility for the 2nd straight season. Still alive in the MAC East. Another rushing TD for the Falcon offense.
Meet the Jennifers. Gen X, Gen Y, and Gen Z. Each planning their future through the Chase mobile app. Gen X is planning a summer in Portugal with some help from JP Morgan Wealth Plan. Let's go, Whiskers. Gen Y is working with a banker to budget for her birthday. You only turned 30 once. And Gen Z, her credit's golden. Hello, new apartment. 3 gens getting ahead with Chase. Solutions that grow with you. One bank for now, for later, for life. Chase, make more of what's yours.
What is it? My new boyfriend. So sweet. Look what he just sent me.
Catching the ball out of the backfield, running in between the tackles outside. Just a great night from Teron Keith.
I saw Teron Keith go down after a 25-yard gain holding his left knee. He appears to be doing well on the Bowling Green sideline, so good sign ahead for the Falcons. Playing tonight without Terrion Stewart. They could ill afford to lose Teron Keith in the backfield as well. A season-high 42 points on the board for Bowling Green. 5 minutes to go, short kick. Kent State will take it around the 27. And again, we talked about Bowling Green. I think if you would have said that 25-yard run by Keith was just their third down conversion of the night. That's odd to have 42 points on the board and only 3 third-down conversions.
Well, most of the night they didn't even make it to 3rd down. A lot of those explosive plays came on 1st and 2nd down. And when you do that and you have consistently with the explosives, you don't necessarily need to make it to 3rd down to score over 40 points. And they've shown that tonight.
And the numbers haven't been great for Bowling Green this year. They're only 33% on 3rd down. Ulatowski throws. It is caught by Holmes. Justin Holmes, the tight end, makes the catch. Kent State just trying to snap it in a hurry and get as much as they can on offense, down 42-19. Ulatowski on the roll, chased from behind, dumps it into the sideline. I've showed you the numbers, career highs for Ulatowski in his 2nd career start. He had 3 passing touchdowns and a rushing touchdown last game against Akron, when the Golden Flashes nearly had their first MAC win of the year, blew a 17-point lead against Akron. Ulatowski playing tonight again with the injured Michael Alaimo, the Purdue transfer, still out for Kent State. So Ulatowski has been solid at quarterback, but hasn't gotten much protection. Been sacked 4 times, 2 sacks and 2 intentional grounding calls. That one tipped and almost picked by Jalen Husky. Would have been his 5th INT of the year.
And it was Ulatowski's worst read on the night. You see the corner sitting outside with a safety over the top and a linebacker sitting right inside of the corner. There's no room to force the ball into that place. Husky should have had his 5th interception on the season right there.
Would have tied Devin Grant of Buffalo. So Husky 7th in the nation, but 2nd in the MAC, because Devin Grant of Buffalo has 5 interceptions this year. Ulatowski delivers on 3rd and 10. Floria makes the grab, but he is short of the first down. 4th down coming up. Offense stays on the field for Kent State.
And they absolutely have to. They're trying to get anything they can get right now. That was the same coverage as before. The inside hook player did a good job of reading the eyes of Ulatowski and breaking down.
Scrambling on 4th and 4. Ulatowski hit as he starts the slide. That's enough for a first down across the 50-yard line. A.V. McGarry puts a good lick on Ulatowski.
Yeah, and you can't take that hit right there. You have to slide. It's very unnecessary. And you see the whiplash. He's running through his target.
Chased again on first down. Throws high and looks like complete. And a nice catch by Floria. It's a 9-yard gain on the sideline for Floria.
And he's had a number of big catches tonight for Floria. And you'd like to see Ulatowski continue to fight and compete, taking hits, but still getting up and competing.
Grit from Kent State, even though you're down 42-19. That one's intercepted, picked off, and a chance at the run back. It's Jones who has it inside the 20, wrestled down from behind. Thomas grabs him from behind, but Deshaun Jones Jr. with the interception and return to seal it for Bowling Green.
Oh my, Devon Ferguson, number 7. You have to lead him into the end zone. You're not the one with the ball. Let's take a look at this here. You see it, 3-man rush, 8 in the coverage. And let's see, Devon Ferguson is leading out in front. You have to peel back and block him so that you can get into the end zone.
Look at him grab his helmet too.
What are you thinking?
Knows at the end of the play he's busted the chance at the pick 6 for his teammate Jones. But still 1st and 10. Inside the 10.
And Coach Scott Loeffler has to like that, the way that his defense finished. Coming away with their 13th interception on the season. They wish it could have been a touchdown.
Lucian Anderson III in at quarterback now for Bowling Green. And Anderson on 2nd and 1, diving. He's short of the end zone. But it's going to be 1st and goal for Bowling Green. Already 4 rushing touchdowns in the game, and Bazelak's got the hat on. It looks like Orth and Bazelak are both done for Bowling Green. Lucian Anderson III on for the last few minutes of this one. Anderson on 1st and goal, hands off Patterson. Close, but just short of the goal line.
Kent State defense is still continuing to fight. They're not conceding. And this is what you like from a young team who was heavily overmatched coming into this game, losing a heartbreaker last week to Akron. They're continuing to fight until there's 4 zeros on the clock. And you see it, trying to play as best they can, as physical as they can, hold up in the middle. But we all know that this Falcon offensive line is just big and powerful. They just wore down the Golden Flashes tonight.
193 rushing yards in the game for Bowling Green. They average 143 a game. They've gone to the ground game here in the 4th, trying to run out the clock. Anderson, the 4th player to take a snap at quarterback tonight for Bowling Green. He's joined in the backfield now by Jamal Johnson. Anderson pulls it. Anderson dropped on 2nd and goal. Golden Flashes showing some fight near the end zone. That's Marcus Winfield to bring up 3rd and goal. Kent State uses another timeout. As Bowling Green looks for its 5th rushing touchdown. Coming up next, don't miss highlights of the night's action as we bring you key plays and unmatched insights on inside college football right here on CBS Sports Network. Josh Pate, Rick Neuheisel, and Brian Jones standing by in our New York studio. Carter Blackburn with Dante Whitner, the 50-plus fans brought on the bus by Bowling Green Athletics over to Dick's Stadium. Celebrating win number 6 to be for Bowling Green. Take them to 4-2 in MAC play, keeping them alive in the MAC East behind Miami and Ohio. Anderson finds the edge, finds the end zone, touchdown. Bowling Green, Lucian Anderson the third. And look, here comes Orth to celebrate with the third string quarterback for Bowling Green, who finds the end zone for the 5th rushing touchdown for the Falcons tonight.
And isn't it fitting how they finished this game? Put 3 receivers to the left, utilize Anderson's legs to get outside right, and then the Golden Flashes lack contain, something that they've lacked all night, and it cost them there 49-19 if this extra point goes through.
The interception from Deshaun Jones Jr., the 13th INT by Bowling Green this year, gives the Falcon offense the short field. Anderson has the rushing touchdown, and all smiles and congratulations for Anderson on the sideline. 49-19.
Football is about numbers. When you see 2 offensive linemen pull, they're outnumbering the defense to the left side. And with Anderson's speed, you're not going to catch him. You have to be way outside to contain that and knock that back to the internal of the defense.
November 14th against Toledo, the power of the MAC this year. 8-1 on the season, 5-0 in MAC play, and then at Western Michigan. So the 4-game winning streak for Bowling Green. They will be hot when they take on Toledo, but the Rockets, Jason Candle's team, have been the class of the MAC again in 2023.
And that's what it's going to come down to. Can you stop Toledo's quarterback? He's a rusher. He can create plays with his legs, has a phenomenal arm accuracy. He rarely turns the ball over. This Falcon defense is going to have their best game versus Toledo on November 14th.
After an 0-2 start in conference play, this will be the 4th straight win for Bowling Green. Had the big upset over Georgia Tech in the non-conference. Bowl eligible with win number 6. Kent State fighting to the end, but the Golden Flashes are going to go to 1-9 on the season, 0-6 in the MAC in year 1 for Kenny Burns coaching Kent State, but building-wise, you call it year 0, and a couple of his mentors. You see Ball State and Northern Illinois, the opportunities for Kent State to win a game in the MAC at Ball State looks like the best opportunity. Mentioned that Kenny Burns' last assistant coaching job was with PJ Fleck in Minnesota, and he told us one of the main things he learned from PJ Fleck in building programs: you don't pay attention to the record in year 1, you call it year 0. It's all building. But Kent State has a long way to go right now at 1-9, 0-6 in the MAC.
And in year 0, football is the least of your worries. It's about developing young men so that they can be great model citizens in the community first and foremost. Great a lot of guys that are going to represent the university in a proper manner. And then when he gets his guys in here, when he starts to develop these players, that's when you'll start to see the wins come.
An excellent GPA in both semesters for Kent State. Meanwhile, we've gotten to 1:38 in the 4th quarter before he brought up the fact that Scott Loeffler recruited you, Dante Whitner, in the Michigan days.
He did. He recruited me. Lloyd Carr was the head coach. I narrowed it down to 5 schools. I called Michigan last to tell them I was going to Ohio State. And then Lloyd Carr hung up on me. I never heard from him ever again. I said, Coach, I'm going to Ohio State. He said, click.
So when you tell the Wolverines that you're going to be a Buckeye, that's the end of your
5-yard penalty from the previous spot.
That's your end of your conversation with Michigan.
Yeah. And, you know, before last year, that was, the last time I talked to Scott as well. So, yeah, they tried to woo me and get me there, but it just couldn't work.
Another line on his resume was last offensive coordinator under Frank Beamer. He's coached under some greats. I mean, he was a young assistant on Lloyd Carr's staff. Worked with Urban Meyer in Florida as well. So some of those red zone plays, you see Camden Orth, the powerful quarterback in the red zone. Yeah, that's right out of the Tebow days for Florida, using your powerful quarterback in the red zone.
I can confirm one thing. He's always been that tall, for sure.
Last gasp for Kent State on 4th and 5. Just a 3-man rush. Ulatowski, pass incomplete. Knocked away by Davion Mayo. And Bowling Green will take over. 1 timeout for Kent State. So the Falcons will have a chance to take a knee, get out of here with a convincing 49-19 win. Looks like Camden Orth will be back out for the victory formation for Bowling Green.
This is the best formation in football. When your offense is in the victory formation, you're going to take a knee and secure the win. Best formation in football.
Well, Bazelak got the start, but Camden Orth with 3 total touchdowns for Bowling Green. 2 rushing, 1 passing. Had a 45-yard completion. Bazelak had the 47-yard touchdown go to Fannin. The 45-yarder to Teron Keith. Keith becomes the first Bowling Green Falcon with 100 rushing yards and 100-plus receiving yards in the same game. The Falcons without their star running back, Terrion Stewart, who averages 6 yards a carry, come up with an offensive game plan to put up 49 on the board against Kent State. Orth takes a knee, and the Bowling Green Falcons go to 6-4 on the season, 4-2 in MAC play. They're still alive for the MAC East, and they will be bowl eligible for a 2nd straight year. An impressive overall performance from Bowling Green, especially the offense, mentioning without Terrion Stewart. The big question mark was how the Falcons would do moving the football without him. 49 points and a record-setting performance from Teron Keith.
Yeah, Teron Keith was everything that they expected him to be tonight. They wanted to make up for the production from Stewart not being there, and they knew that Teron Keith could handle the load, and he did tonight. He got into the end zone multiple times. He was a matchup issue in coverage. Great job from that young man.
Updated standings in the MAC East. Bowling Green goes to 4-2. Miami wins over Akron tonight. Toledo has a 49-9 lead right now over Eastern Michigan. So the Rockets atop the West. Bowling Green still alive in the East. When we return, we'll have an interview with Bowling Green head coach Scott Loeffler.